Mayor and Maz. Joe Murray. For Boston sports fans, it's 98.5, the Sports Hub. Paisley Media Group Station. Essential Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Patriots preseason begins tonight in Foxborough as they open up their three-game schedule with their lone home game of the summer. They'll play the Washington Commanders at Gillette Stadium, and the starters are expected to see some time in this one for Mike Vrabel.
I would say most everybody that's healthy should expect to play in the game. How long they'll play, I don't know, but we have to prepare to play in football games and prepare to win football games. So that's the mentality that we're going to take.
We'll have the pregame at 4:30 this afternoon here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, and then a kickoff with Bob Sosey and Phil Perry will follow at 7:30. A statue of Tom Brady will be unveiled on the plaza next to the team's Hall of Fame at 6. In other NFL news, Chargers starting left tackle Rashawn Slater suffered a ruptured patella. He will miss the entire upcoming season. Red Sox had last night off. They open up a three-game series in San Diego against old friend Nick Pivetta and the Padres tonight. Walker Buehler will start for the Sox. They're 4 games behind Toronto for first place in the division, and they're a game ahead of Seattle for the top wild card in the American League. And the kids from Braintree, Massachusetts beat Bedford, New Hampshire last night 3-2 in 8 innings in the championship of the New England Regional. As a result, they're headed to the Little League World Series. They'll play Southeastern champ Irmo, South Carolina on Wednesday afternoon in Williamsport. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Catches Law. At Catches, they specialize in helping those who have been injured not only from a one-time incident, but from a lifetime of hard work and labor. Does this sound like you? Visit CatchesLaw.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
Come on, let's face it. Your summer barbecue, it's just training camp for tailgate season. And Patriots training camp is where the Sports Hub will be as the team gets ready for a new season with a new coach, Mike Vrabel. Keep it on the Sports Hub, and we'll keep you up to date with all things Patriots. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Ladies and gentlemen, I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Toucher.
They love the show. In fact, they said, Fred, you're the best.
And Hardy.
Who's Taylor the originator?
On 98.5.
Hello.
Hey there.
Aloha.
Bonjour.
How are we doing?
What? I'm an animal.
Can we use this for the radio? No, Nick, with your drinking at noon on Monday.
Well, I tell her the truth, I miss Booty.
That problem is too large for the Sarge.
You know how I feel about clowns on morning shows?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, hello.
Toucher and Hardy.
Watch Daddy and Uncle Freddie.
Knocking back
25 glasses of soda.
Having some fun.
On 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Let's go. We are Hardy. We are on 98.5, the Sports Hub. 617-779-0985 is the telephone number. Watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5, the Sports Hub on YouTube, and get involved with that.
Stability.
That's right, Nicholas. The big news is that my card sold yesterday for $5,000. It's under what I thought it would go for, and really what it's worth. But this is the game we play when we put things on auction on eBay.
One bid?
One bid. The bid came during the show yesterday.
Bid.
One bid. And there was 61 people watching it. Now, 40 were probably listeners that just wanted to see what was going on. But, that means there was at least, 10 real interest people. And, I watched the last 30 seconds of it. I watched it in real time, and I kept expecting someone to jump in, and no one jumped in.
How much, when you first got it, Milo had a figure in mind, right, before he quickly put it in the sleeve, the double sleeve and all that?
Well, it was Milo's friend that really put it over the top because he was showing me comps of it that were going between $10,000 and $15,000,
Okay.
but that's not, I don't think, realistic. And so, but the last card went for $6,600.
Okay.
So I thought that I could get it. Look, it's a $220 pack, and I got a $5,000 card. Mm-hmm. If someone gets it graded and it grades out well, and which I think it will, but what do I know? But if it grades out well, and someone sells it, it could be worth a lot of money. If J.J. McCarthy's good, but I got the card, I have enough cards. I just was like, it's enough. I'm selling some. I'm making money. At one point in this endeavor, money has to be made. If my son's into it now. It started in COVID, a little before COVID. It is when I started I felt like I had money, and I just was like, let's do something. And then COVID, it got out of control, as it did for a lot of people. And then my son started getting super into it, and that made everything expensive again. Not to the degree it was during COVID when I was going nuts. But it's funny, I talked to a lot of guys that there's this card store in Newton, and it looks like no one's ever in there because they just sell boxes. It's not like they sell individual cards. They just sell hobby boxes, and they're just stacked behind the counter. And then the rest of the store is just empty cardboard boxes, like storage boxes. It's like they open them and they throw them like into a pile. So 3/4 of the store is empty cardboard boxes.
See, that's the kind of place you love to go to, though. I mean, the card store I go to is in Framingham, over by Callahan State Park. They're well set up. They have all these display cases and all that. That's a different vibe than the one you're talking about.
Yeah, this guy's not even pretending to sell cards. There are cards for sale, kind of, but they're like all yellowed and like dusty. Like they don't put a lot of effort into the store, it seems. But it's, but they have everything and it's fairly priced. And so I would think no one was ever in there because they don't appear to be trying very hard. And I'll talk to people, and I probably met 15 guys that have been like, oh, and during COVID, I was there all the time. I went in there all the time.
Yeah.
Because you needed something to do. And you weren't spending money on anything else except rehab. But then you got that money back from insurance. So what are you going to do? So, I just wanted to turn it around. I wanted to get the money. So I'm not complaining. $5,000 is fine with me.
Honestly, Fred, a lot of things could happen once games start to matter as well. What if McCarthy isn't good this year? What if he gets hurt again? I mean, there are a lot of variables. Take the solid $5,000 and run.
Right,
not necessarily the worst thing in the world.
Like if he's okay and like someone gets it graded, it's worth 20. You got to mail it off and get it graded in 6 months, and then say theoretically it's worth $25,000. But I was telling Hardy yesterday, something can be worth $25,000. It doesn't mean that someone's going to spend $25,000. Like obviously this is pretty obvious, but the higher the card's worth, the smaller the amount of people. Like, would you buy a $25,000 baseball card?
No.
But there's a chance that your arm could be twisted to buy a $1,000 baseball card.
Yes.
So if you saw like this Ken Griffey Jr. card or something that, was of interest to you, because it's at that point you're a collector, and it was like this one of one, and it was, this really cool thing, and it was $1,000, and then you looked it up and it was worth $1,000, you might pay $1,000. Now you wouldn't want to, but there's a chance you may. But if I wouldn't buy a card for $100,000, I wouldn't buy a card for $20,000. Like, there's no way. So I'm out then. But is there a way I could be that if I thought it was a good investment, I'd buy a card for $5,000? I mean, I guess. But just the higher they get. Like, this card's worth $1 million. All right, well, then put it up for auction. Because you're not going to put something on eBay, I don't think, for $1 million and get $1 million.
Yeah, I wonder what the actual, number is, because every collectible market obviously is going to have, number one, more people interested in it and dealing in it than you would probably imagine. The card market is like right there. There's so many people into this, you would have no idea. But what is the price cutoff to where you go from a large number of people to the very small subset? And I don't mean even the $100,000 cards, Fred, or the $1 million cards, or because those guys sometimes aren't even real collectors. Those are people who are just looking to invest, or they want that one thing. But among the card people, what is their cutoff point in terms of a comfort level from money? It's probably something around the $1,000 to $2,000 range, and beyond that, you're dealing with a very small subset of the market of card collectors who are truly going to be interested in this.
Yeah, the people that contacted me about the card were listeners or guys that had card businesses.
Yeah,
there was no dude. You know what I'm saying? There was no guy.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was either a guy, someone who said I like the show, or it was someone who said something very specific about the card, and then I would look at their handle and they'd have 5,000 eBay sales, and they were a card shop. And those people put cards for sale on eBay. They don't do auctions generally. They put them for sale on eBay, and they leave them up there for however long. and got people like me who just might, once every 10 years come across. I've sold cards on there before, which is good because I have at least like a history of selling stuff. But I've the most I've ever sold a card for on there was probably $250.
What's your feedback as a seller? I mean, is it higher or lower than your, say, Uber or Lyft rating?
Well, I can't get in Uber anymore, so that's and my Lyft rating was perfect until the Fartgate.
What's it at now?
I can look at what my Lyft rating
How many
is.
tenths of a point did that knock you off?
Maybe a 4.
We're down to a 4.6. Where are we?
eBay is like a zero-sum game. Like eBay, you can't have unless you got like thousands of. You got to have 100%.
You have to have 100%.
Yeah, like there's no. I think it's one of those things that like I would not unless I got completely screwed. There's no way I would give a guy like a because it's his like. It's kind of like messing with someone's money, and then I don't want to get that on my mojo. I will. All right, how do I find this view profile? I'm a 4.9.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm 4.9 instead of 5 because of Fartgate.
Yes.
Yeah, but I would think Fartgate would have been enough to take you down at least a half a point.
Well, I've been a Lyft guy for 11.5 years, so I've had 413 rides. So the aggregate is,
Pretty good.
Yeah. I don't drive into the city. I'll take the train into the city, but rarely, and only really Fenway. And I've taken the train to a Celtic game before when I had the leisure to do so.
I've used it so infrequently. I just went to my Lyft app and I have to download it from the cloud.
Do you use Uber?
No. I mean,
You like being in control.
it's a control issue.
Yeah.
I probably use Uber more than Lyft, and I think Uber is probably still on my phone somewhere. Hold on, I just want to see how many rides I've taken.
Well, Uber is on your phone because that's where you met your friend in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you probably have like a 6 rating. He probably went into like VIP Uber. This is I wish I never saw a picture of him because he went from
That's why I didn't look at it.
like a meek chauffeur type, I thought, into a Fabio-esque, really
He is beautiful.
like gay sex symbol.
Yeah, I'm not
basically.
hearing that. I want to stick with the mental image that I have. Just not that.
Like think of like a low rent like gay Fabio. That's like that's kind of like what it is. And the only reason I say gay is because they are gay photos. Like he's preening and wearing clothes as if to say like, hey, gay guys like me.
Hey, you looked at one thing once,
I saw his whole Facebook account. You showed it to me. You have to admit that looked extraordinary. Like just not in a bad way, but just in a descriptive way would be. It looked like a gay man taking photos for other gay men.
It just looked like my friend. That's all it looked like to me.
If you had a friend who was married,
yeah,
and you saw that, and he had a
Yeah.
Facebook page with those photos up, would you go, "This marriage is on solid ground"?
No,
or would you think this man has no interest in this woman?
Oh, is it married to a woman? Well, that changes everything.
Exactly. There's the curveball.
I have a 4.94 Uber rating.
Oh, they go down to a tenth of a point, or was it 100th of a point? Thank you, Jonathan.
I
It's
do
been a
wonder,
while.
and you can't see. I don't think you can see what drivers have rated you.
No, you can't.
Like who gave me, whoever gave me less than a 5.
And my Uber
Me?
rating was like a 4 or 5 because I had Uber whenever, like 15 years ago, and I was still, going out and being silly.
Maybe you just
Back
asked
then.
the driver too many questions, Hardy. Maybe that's the reason he knocked you off. So you change your oil? How the
Yeah.
tires? Tires
Yeah.
okay?
I've really only
chatty.
used,
You rotate those things recently?
like, in the 11 years I've had Lyft, at least it wasn't, like, as crazy as it was when Uber was the main thing. There was, 11 years ago, I was late 30s. I was winding down from I was getting into the isolation stage, so not as wild the nights out on the town. All right, big show on the way today. is we just have card experts all morning long to figure out what's going on with this J.J. McCarthy situation. Bert Breer will be in studio. He's already made a big production about getting in at midnight last night, as if like he got home at midnight. Like, okay. That's none of that is impressive to me anymore.
I was just going to say, so you didn't get any sleep. Okay.
Yeah, like I think I got home around like 11:30 on Tuesday. Like that's just like I mean,
congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what we do.
Yeah, but you also live 20 minutes from the airport. He's got to drive down.
That's his responsibility.
That's also true.
If you live on the South Shore,
that's right. You pick a spot on Route 3, you pay the price. That's congratulations, you're near the water.
Would you like my comprehensive break? Since no Red Sox last night, I was able to finish watching season 4 of The Bear. Would you like my comprehensive breakdown of season 4 in 10 seconds?
Yes.
Nothing happens. There you go. Have fun watching that. Have fun watching people have like 5-minute conversations where the entirety of the dialogue is, I know. No, you don't know. I do. You don't. I know. Do you know? It's like that. Nothing happens. Where is the story? No, it's an acting tour de force. It's a character study. Boring. Something needs to happen for me in a show. Please. Can something happen? No, not this season. No, not for 10 episodes. Spoiler alert, nothing happens. Nothing. There you go. But just watch everybody because they're such great actors. No, I watched it for the last 7 episodes. 3 episodes in, I knew nothing was going to happen, and I hate watch the rest of it. Thank God they're only about 35 minutes each.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia does a parody episode of The Bear where Charlie starts trying to recreate smash burgers for Frank, and he's cooking in their apartment, and he's like, Frank, can you help me out? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, call me chef. He's like, yeah, Charlie. He's like, call me chef. He's like, why? He's like, because we're under a lot of pressure here. There's a lot on the line. There's a lot on the line here. You got to call me chef.
Yes, chef.
And when you walk by, you got to say to your right, chef. He's like, why? He's like, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot on the line. Like, and then it got me thinking, like, yeah, like, if you're in a restaurant, why are you putting so much pressure on yourself? Really, you're just pissing off one person. It doesn't make any sense. And then it kind of like made me think, yeah, this whole high pressure. And I've worked in restaurants, and I understand that things get like stressful and customers are complaining. But if you really took a step back and thought about it, I mean, there's much more on the line here. You could, really piss off like thousands of people, especially if it went viral. You could piss off 1 million people. In a restaurant, you're pissing off one person. Like, if something goes out badly, and then I guess they could review the restaurant poorly. But if you're a line cook or something, who cares?
Because I worked in restaurants too. Walt, you ever work in a restaurant?
No,
you never did.
Yeah, that's why he is the way he is.
Ice cream parlor, does that count?
Yeah, it's probably why you're so rude to waiters and waitresses.
Never worked in the service industry.
I get it too from being in there and like tending bar or serving, and it's like you're in the weeds, and it's it's stressful and everything matters in that one moment. But I also know that like once you remove yourself from it, and it's been a long, long time since I did it, but once you're away from it, it's hard to care about it or put yourself back in that atmosphere where you feel that stressed about it because, like you said, who cares? It's a restaurant.
Yeah,
let's all calm down for a second. In the moment, I get it, and they kind of capture that stress, but I can't watch 10 episodes of it and not have something happen. And it's not like it's all like action dining scenes anyway. It's long conversations where not much gets resolved, if anything.
Beautiful.
Ugh.
Tarantino except worse.
Oh, and and never forget, it's a comedy.
Yeah, that's what's funny about
at awards
it,
time. Yeah, that's a comedy. Oh yeah, that show is a hoot.
Yeah.
I busted a gut laughing at that thing.
Well, if you're waiting for your bonus today, it's not coming.
Oh.
I wonder if that's because the earnings call is on the 12th. Because The bonuses really should have come today. Boy.
I believe they're already overdue by a pay cycle.
No,
they were supposed to come.
I think they were supposed to come this pay cycle.
Well, we were told they were supposed to come this pay cycle.
We
but
were?
I believe they were supposed to come last pay cycle.
Were we told they were supposed to
I
come
don't
this
remember
pay
that.
cycle?
Is that right?
I believe I can search my email, but I believe I got an email saying they would be coming this pay cycle instead of the last one, which is when they were supposed to come.
I don't think they were. They usually. I wasn't expecting it last pay cycle because the ratings came out maybe right before we got the previous check, like maybe the day, 2 days before we got the previous check or the day before. So I understand why we didn't get them then. It's been over 2 weeks now, so I would assume it would be in this pay cycle, but it is not.
When's the earnings call?
The 12th.
Oh, sweet.
So on Tuesday, but I don't understand really why we didn't get the bonus today. That would have been a nice thing to get. That's you know, you could have gotten that money working for you if you would have done it, if they would have gotten it in. But what are you going to do?
Well, meant for the rent.
I can pay the rent. It's 2 weeks. Market goes up. You get a little juice. I mean, what are we doing here? All right, very good. We'll be back in just a moment.
More Toucher and Hart.
What happened last night is brought to you by Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, where your hair doesn't have to be a game of what happened. So change your lettuce and change your life with Dr. Matthew Lopresti at 1-800-GET-HAIR. Hardy, what's going down, my friend?
Preseason week 1, not counting the Hall of Fame game because we don't count that. So the actual start of the preseason was last night. We'll begin with Pete Carroll taking on his old team, Raiders, going up against the Seattle Seahawks.
1st and 10 from his own 35 for O'Connell. Quarterback of the Raiders looks right, steps to his left. Now he's going to let it fly down the left sideline. Coverage on the play is Job. He makes the interception. Comes back to the 30, 35, 40. 45 knocked down at the 47-yard line.
Josh Jobe intercepting Aiden O'Connell. What's so funny?
He sounds bored. He sounds like, oh, this is
Yeah, good for him.
Game. We gotta go through this.
Yeah, he shouldn't. That's what he should do.
Come on.
There's a long pass down the sideline. Oh, it's intercepted. Okay.
Did you hear what the Bengals are doing this year? Like, they're letting Burrow and Chase and Higgins play because they traditionally start off so poorly.
I read about this. The head coach Zach Taylor is going to have him play a lot this preseason, which is dangerous, but he's right.
Well, well, think of it this way: they finished 9-8 last year. They finished the season with a 5-game winning streak. If you'll recall, they lost at home to New England in Week 1. They win that game, they're in the playoffs.
Yep.
Like that game, that's the game they should have. If you look at the schedule, I haven't, but I could assume at home against the Patriots is the game you should have won out of the schedule. They win that game, they're in the playoffs.
The last 5 years, I was reading this stat yesterday. The last 5 years, Joe Burrow in weeks 1 and 2 of the season, 1-9.
Do you remember how we all felt after that week 1 win?
I do. I would say thank God.
What?
Thank God they won. That way they won't go 0-6. That's how I felt.
No, you didn't.
I absolutely did.
You thought maybe this team had something.
No.
You thought maybe they had it.
I have a witness on the other side of the room here.
He wasn't listening to you or cared about what you were feeling.
That's a good point.
I what? Huh?
Yeah.
So
I think it was unanimous in the room. Thank God they won this game because that way they can be 1-5.
I agree. Yeah,
we pretty much understood that this team wasn't very good.
No, but I thought good for Mayo. He got a win.
Yeah, he got it out of there. Congratulations.
And
this is going to be a tough season for him.
Yeah.
But maybe they'd be able to scrape out a few more wins like that, where the offense just does the bare minimum and the defense, and they have a really good game plan. And as I believe it turned out, they spent the entirety of the preseason getting ready for that week 1.
Sure.
And after that, they had said, "Ooh, now what?"
Yeah.
Oh, now you got
we have
6
to get ready
days.
we have to get ready for an opponent in a week.
Yeah,
Wait a second.
You just had a month to prepare for a team that comes out wholly unprepared, almost year after year, and squeaked by and got a win. Now you got 6 days to try and beat another team, and you're not going to be.
But it's dangerous. Joe Burrow looked really good last night. I think Jamar Chase caught a touchdown pass, but the more you play guys, the more susceptible they are to a freak injury, like what happened to the Chargers yesterday.
All right. Well, you know what? Not just with the Chargers, but yes, it does happen.
Anthony Richardson goes out of the gun, ball in the near hash, backs to throw, and he is decked from the left, and he is sacked and buried. He took a big-time hit, but more importantly, hangs on to the football, and the Ravens with a sack off the left edge.
And he's going off the field, Matt. He got hit unabated. There was no one blocking. The protection was totally not there.
Ravens, Colts. By the way, Seahawks and Raiders played to a 23 all-time. So, far be it from me to ignore the score of these preseason games. But in that Ravens game, Anthony Richardson dislocated finger?
Pinky.
Yeah, he got nailed.
It was pointed 90 degrees to the right.
But
it was really disgusting.
Yeah, you can snap that into place, though, and I'm not joking. He got nailed. Absolutely nailed.
By the way, just to prove how terrible a quarterback he is, front side sack.
Yeah.
Guy came right in his face, and he didn't see it.
Nope. I don't know what's going on. He just didn't play enough football. I mean, he just really hasn't played enough football in his life. They drafted him based on, he's such a freak athlete, but at that position, you just can't do that. You have to have at least played football.
Got a cannon for an arm, though, Fred.
Well, he's got a cannon for an arm, and he's super big and he's super fast. I'd imagine when he's in front of you and you watch him running around, I mean, you've seen him make plays that you're just like, this is insane. And you think there's no way he can physically do everything that you would ever have to be able to do. He's the best athlete on the field when he's out there, and he's big. But the thing is he just doesn't know how to play quarterback.
Zero pocket presence.
Yeah, because and I would put that too. He just hasn't played. He barely played in college. And, by the way, that game last year, the Bengals should have won that game against the Patriots. The Bengals really dominated that second half. The Patriots did not look good in that game necessarily.
Which is why we came in the next day and said, boy, are they lucky. They won one. Good for them.
Either way this year, it's going to be infuriating after the first game.
Yeah.
Because if they lose, it's going to be treated like it was a bomb went off because everyone thinks that they're going to kill Vegas, which I don't think is valid. And also, if they win, then people are going to start going like, so when we go 11-6, like, who do you think they'll play in the first round?
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh, shut up. Like, knock it off. It's enough already with this crap. I'm sick of it already.
You mentioned Joe Burrow and the fact that he's playing a lot. Yes, he looked pretty good.
3 receivers left, 1 out to the right. The receiver to the right is Chase. Here's a short pass, caught by Tanner Hudson, lunging toward the goal line. Touchdown!
Yeah.
Bengals!
Good job.
Tanner Hudson caught it at the 3,
I like that.
lowered his shoulder pads, and got the football over the goal line.
That I like. That's good. Me likey. Good stuff with the thing.
So how much did Burrow play last night? He was 9 of 10 for 123 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks as the Bengals ultimately fall to the Eagles 34-27.
Yeah, and Chase had a big day too, and good for them. Trying something new. I would too.
But Bengals luck, one of those guys is going to get hurt if you keep him out there for too long.
Well, they kept him out there yesterday.
know.
No one got hurt.
I know.
So
Jamar Chase was targeted 4 times. He caught all 4 of them, 77 yards in the touchdown. So
yeah, and
I'm kind of with you. Like this whole idea of these preseason games being mostly about identifying like the bottom of the roster, and like you watch that first Hall of Fame game, like that's interesting, but this is really just glorified practice.
Yeah.
This is just a scrimmage, and at some point, the starters should play some real football before the games start to count. It always annoyed me that there was this notion, and maybe even like an actual belief by some coaches like Belichick, that the first month was an extension of the preseason, and how you're just working on figuring things out. You got all summer to figure things out. Is it possible maybe to go into week 1 and have a handful of things like ready to go and play real football, and not let on that maybe you're not taking these all that seriously, because it's stupid. It makes you not want to watch.
Well, they're not going to play him in obviously the third preseason game, and also this is probably the one that they're playing the most in, maybe next week, but I would guess that they're certainly not going to play more next week. And Andy Reid has always played his guys in the preseason. And if I was looking at teams that have had long stretches of long seasons, it's Kansas City. So, get them out there. Yeah, you lose week 1, and you start the season real poor like Cincinnati did. I think they were like 2-5 or something like that. You can still go 5-0 at the end of the year and not make the playoffs. So it's better to win that first game of the season, I would imagine. Get that in your pocket. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots open up their preseason tonight at home against the Washington Commanders. We'll have the pregame at 4:30 and then a kickoff at 7:30 with Bob Sosey and Phil Perry right here in your flagship radio station for the Patriots, 98.5 The Sports Hub. All of the Patriots' healthy starters are expected to see some time. Before tonight's game, the Patriots will unveil a statue of Tom Brady just outside the stadium on the plaza next to the team's Hall of Fame. That ceremony is scheduled to begin at 6 o'clock. Red Sox had last night off. They open up a 3-game series in San Diego tonight. And Braintree, Massachusetts is headed to the Little League World Series for the first time ever. They beat Bedford, New Hampshire last night, 3-2 in 8 innings in the championship game of the New England Regional. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Super Service Today, Massachusetts' #1 provider for residential and commercial plumbing, heating, cooling, and drain cleaning, day or night, and always done right. Visit superservicetoday.com. I'm John Wallach of Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Bob, I believe he emailed me. Bob, go ahead, Bob.
Hey, Fred, you know Charlotte Wilder, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I know there's a million podcasts, but she has a pretty good sports podcast on YouTube called Sports Gossip Show. She has a first-hand account of dealing with Jordan Hudson for a week, trying to get her on the show, how crazy she is and how out of control the situation is. It's worth checking out.
Okay, so can you we will check it out, thank you. But can you kind of tell us, like, so she tried to get Jordan Hudson on?
Jordan reached out to Charlotte Wilder a week ago, like like on a Friday, and they went back and forth. And she has a co-host on the show, and all three of them went back and forth for a week. And finally, it was like, "Are you going to do the show or not?" And Jordan just completely changed her mind at the last minute and canceled.
Was she putting a bunch of rules on it and stuff, or was it?
Yeah, it was all. What Charlotte was saying was that she has no publicist, she has nobody to help her out. She's doing it all on her own, and she has no effing idea what she's doing.
Yeah, I could have told you that. Yeah,
I'm not treating Charlotte Wilder, who's a very good sports writer who's worked for Sports Illustrated, and treated her like crap. And like she didn't really seem to understand that you don't do that to sports writers like Charlotte Wilder.
No, if you reach out to someone to come on their show and then you turn around and treat them like crap, are you not savvy enough to know they're going to go on their show and explain what happened, and it's going to make you look bad? That's kind of what a publicist is supposed to get you not to do, make you not look bad.
But she is a publicist. It's like saying, Johnny Cochran needs a lawyer. No, he doesn't. He is a lawyer. And Jordan Hudson is a high-level publicist.
All right, thank you, Bob. You're a lot of noise there in the background. But
I think that's a good idea. We should get Charlotte Wilder on.
She'll come on once and then never come on again. But yeah, we could find out what went on there. But the deal is that we should investigate that. What happened with Jordan Hudson?
Yeah,
I wonder if it was a Friday evening when she reached out to Charlotte after a few Nantucket tales.
Jordan might have some staffing issues going on there at Trouble Cub Productions. If things are falling through the cracks like this, she may have to take a look at the corporate structure and maybe make a few adjustments, if you know what I'm talking about.
Problem with the flow chart? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the chain of command.
Well, I'm
synergy.
guessing most of her attention is to her real estate holdings, as I would imagine. When you're going all in on some rental props.
Which is not a subsidiary of Trouble Cub. That is a separate entity.
Yeah, it's her and I believe a guy from Fidelity, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's like Warren Buffett. He's got his furniture, he's got his insurance. Near the twain shall meet.
Well, Berkshire Hathaway, yeah, she's got her own little real estate collective going on. Her real estate interest, absolutely.
Let's check in with Mike Vrabel as the Patriots get ready to take on the Washington Commanders tonight. And, of course, the big statue unveiling going down at 6 p.m. out on the plaza in front of the hall at Patriot Place. If you're in the stadium, you'll be able to watch it there on the video boards. But, there is a game to be played. So the question, Mike, who's going to play?
Again, focused on today, and they'll get a lot of reps today, different situations. And again, I would say most everybody that's healthy should expect to play in the game. How long they'll play, I don't know, but we have to prepare to play in football games and prepare to win football games. So that's the mentality that we're going to take.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a game, and you're going to prepare to win the football game. So tonight is a game.
Yeah, the game is an extension of practice. The first preseason game is, we're gonna play. We'll practice today. We, got some situations, and then, tomorrow will be the day before. But Friday will be an extension of a work. It'll be a game, give us an opportunity to go out there, but still just looking at it as a practice opportunity to continue to work and get guys the reps that we think that they're going to need for the season.
We all know it, and we all accept it, and happy that football is back. I don't think the league likes that commentary, though. I'm guessing the NFL probably say, please don't refer to any of these preseason games. You're not allowed to say exhibition. They took that out of the lexicon. Please don't say it's an extension of practice. Please just don't.
Well, are you going to watch it tonight?
Yeah.
How much of it are you going to watch?
I'll watch the first half at least.
That sounds right.
Yeah, good. I'll watch the first. If I watch, I'll watch the first two drives. I'm not watching the second half of a preseason game. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's a complete waste of time. You're just looking. Basically, you might as well be watching the UFL. Like, you're just like, football is neat. Like, they're not playing for anything. Nothing is on the line. Well, a guy could get a job. Okay. Well, how am I supposed to pick that guy out? Like, how am I, like, there's the safety who's really falling back into coverage well. What, am I going to break down the all-22?
Yeah.
I'm not watching a effing second half of a preseason game. That's insanity.
What are you going to do instead?
Seeing Freaky Friday tonight.
Oh, nice.
What time?
7:30.
You're not.
No, you're not watching anything.
I could well, I mean, it's available. This ain't 1952.
Yeah,
I mean,
but the idea that you would
the show of shows isn't. I mean, ask John about those days.
Listen, the idea that you would actually
show of shows.
the idea that you actually go back and watch a preseason game after it's happened.
I'm not going to do that, John. I'm just saying that. I'm not going to do that. I can, with all good conscience, if someone gets hurt or something happens, I'll see it.
Exactly.
I'm not going to.
anything.
No, I'm not.
Fred,
But
will
you didn't have to
will you
bring it
commit
up.
right now to coming in here on Monday, and unless someone gets hurt or something interesting happens, to not watching one moment of tonight's game?
Oh, Hardy, come on! Don't put me under the bus like that.
want-
that would be very out of character for me.
I want a commitment from you right now that we're going to come in and talk about
What
this
time's
game.
the game?
7:30.
Oh yeah. I won't see it.
Okay. Will you watch it? Will you promise me you won't watch any of it over the weekend?
I swear to God, I won't. Watch it. Yeah, I don't care. Let's throw me in the briar patch. Yeah, I won't watch it.
Hey, he's steadfast in his beliefs. That's fine.
I mean, 2 days after it, I think I can get through a show without having watched the preseason game. I'll just ask the experts what they think. We're having Barthon, I know that, Adam said.
Yeah.
So I'll ask them. I don't think there's going to be a huge breakdown of the first preseason game 2 days after it was played.
Well, not from you.
Certainly not. So you can feel assured you'll have had a whole weekend of over-analysis of the preseason game. I can assure you will not get that here. If you tune in on Monday, there will be no talk of the preseason game unless someone gets hurt.
All right. One more from the Patriots. Drake May, how you feeling?
Yeah, I think preseason is a time to go out there and get the jitters and realize when I'm live. It's different for me being able to get tackled and get hit. So it's good to go out there and kind of feel like live bullets are flying around and not have that. The first,
I find that
snap of the season.
offensive. As someone who grew up on Crenshaw,
The live bullets flying around?
like a stray bullet, he's misled, saying those kinds of words. That was cute what I just did.
Misled? Now I can think about it as a comment.
Like a stray bullet, you're misled.
Jesus.
What does that mean? If like a stray bullet, you're misled.
Yeah, I understand. The lead of the bullet missed you.
Ah, there you go. John didn't know that. No, he didn't. He was confused. He's not a poetry guy. Don't worry. That was Danny Brown. That line. Thank you. Adam shaking his head like he knew. He didn't know that. Everyone's fronting on a Friday. Everyone's fronting on a Friday. It's a fronting Friday. Everyone's half-stepping today, feeling like they're keeping up. All right, go ahead. What else? You tell me. Let's shoot. Go from the holster. We got Breer coming in. He'll break down. He'll give us an hour of pregame today. We'll figure out everything that's going on.
Some more injuries to talk about in the NFL.
Can I just say this real quick? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lead you into something and interrupt. Joe, last night, though, I did hear Joe, and he was watching a game in the background. He had money on it.
Oh,
So-
it must have been a Little League game.
No. It was a preseason football
it was a preseason
game.
football? All right.
Yeah, he had money on it. Yeah, like he had bet money. Can you bet on the Little League World Series?
I don't know. I was just.
Oh, that doesn't
That
seem
would have been
right.
very funny if you could.
I mean, you couldn't get to a 12-year-old and go throw the game.
Of course.
I mean they can't let you gamble on the Little League World Series. Those poor kids. They're playing baseball in August at 12 years old.
Well,
that's really
they
good for you.
started in March, so.
Yeah, I know. That's really good for you. Yeah, well, it's March. If you're in Florida, you started you haven't stopped.
Oh, all right. The Braintree kids started in March.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're still playing. So that's, I'm sure, A, fun, and B, really good for you.
Yeah, the practices are 2-3 hours every day.
Well, Milo played on a Williamsport team. They never got past whatever the local thing was. They always would lose to Brookline. But, that was after the Little League season. Right. And then, they're well into it.
Opening day for the Little League season is what, April 15th? Something like that?
Like
around
high
there?
school travel ended earlier this month. Now you can play into the fall, but most kids don't. And there are still showcases and stuff. Like Miles doing a couple showcases, but like the idea of him going into his junior year of high school, playing this late into the season.
Yeah.
That's like a lot.
No, but it's true. I mean, the Braintree kids started preseason, I'm betting, at the end of March, and they just reached the Little League World Series last night, so they have at least another week or two ahead of them. So they're going to finish in mid-August, and then guess what? 10 days later, you're back at school.
Yeah, that's 5 months of baseball. That's a lot. A lot of, like, games and a lot of throwing. That's just a lot. I mean, it's probably really fun and, like, awesome to be in. But I don't know. That's a lot of baseball. It might get to that South Park situation where you're throwing games at the end, you know?
Yeah. Tim Hasselbeck weighing in on the loss of the left tackle there for the San Diego Superchargers of Los Angeles.
What is your level of concern for Justin Herbert losing his franchise left tackle for the season?
It is a huge deal. Plain and simple, it's a huge deal because while, they have immediate answers on the roster, moving off the left tackle, the problem ends up being is your depth starts to get compromised and the season's long and they've got big-time aspirations. It's a massive downgrade. They have one of the best left tackles, in the game.
Whoa. That's why you pay the guy. So losing one of the left tackles in the game is a big deal.
Yes.
And it hurts their depth at the position.
And it also hurts their season-long aspirations, yes.
So losing their left tackle hurts the offensive line depth.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that BC education.
Yeah. Let's skip it over to baseball
Tim
here for a
Hasselbeck
moment.
went there, right?
Bad night for Paul Skeens. Oh, my goodness.
The team has gotten 7 hits off
You
Paul
had to
Skeens.
use it.
He's still pitching.
Good for you, Ryan.
Popped up center field. Cruz, he will glove it. 6 more shutout innings for the amazing Paul Skeens, and he'll leave to a standing ovation and a little tip of the cap. He's unbelievable.
7 hits. He got shelled.
Career high.
Well, Ryan came in and told us this, by the way, during the break.
No, yeah.
Don't think John knew that off the top
I
of
did
his
not.
head.
I'm
I
more
knew.
than willing to get beaten.
I'm following the NL pretty closely. I got my finger on the pulse of everything.
Hardy
baby.
knew. Yeah, Paul Skeens. If you're going to games in Pittsburgh, good for you.
Yeah.
If I take it that was in Pittsburgh, who knows? But if that was in Pittsburgh, you're just really willing to get bent over and just they're never going to spend money and they're never going to keep players, and you just keep going. They built you that nice park.
Maybe there'll be a salary cap floor that'll force them to double their payroll.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Pittsburgh's not a big market, but Pittsburgh, they could put a team on the field. They could sell that place out every night if they put a team on the field.
You got to figure the TV money alone that they get, that every team gets, would force them to goose that payroll by, pick a number, $30, $40 million a year?
I'm always interested in, like, the gate versus the payroll. Like, at what point are you better served spending money on the payroll to get people to the games? Because, 35,000, 40,000 people 82 times a year is a lot, or 81 times a year is a lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And a lot of beer and a lot of hot dog. That's a lot of money. Like millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Well, according to what I see here, the Pirates are 26th out of 30 teams in spending. Their payroll on opening day was $86 million.
Yeah, so how many 30...
Ohtani makes 70 by himself, by the way. So, yeah.
How many $40,000 games does it take to make that much money? Not a lot, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Say it's $75 a ticket times 30,000, 40,000 times, the average fan group of 4 is like, so say the average fan's paying $25 a game in beverages. That's a lot of money. Go ahead.
By the way, the Pirates payroll in 2021, $45 million. Payroll for a 25-man roster, $45 million. They've been in the bottom 5 of spending every year for the last 8 years.
Yeah. And that's a team with history and and they've been around forever. That's just a shame. It's a shame. And it doesn't happen in football. And it doesn't really happen in hockey. And it doesn't happen in basketball. This is a very unique situation in baseball. Oklahoma City's walking around with an NBA championship. Oklahoma City baseball team, they'd have Little League World Series. They'd have to wait for that to end so they could get some roster people in it. I mean, they'd be spending $5,000 on people. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. We're giving away a car in about an hour.
Nice.
Or a chance to win a car in an hour. We'll have that for you. And Bert will be here, so maybe he can start spitting all over it again.
Perfect.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
And Albrecht.
Campbell is expected to give his healthy starters some run, and that includes safety Kyle Duggar.
It's going to be really good for us, really good to compete against somebody else, like you said, see different things that we have not seen yet. It's going to be really good to sharpen our tools.
We'll have the pregame at 4:30 with Mark Bertrand and Chris Gasper, and then a kickoff at 7:30 with Bob Sosi and Phil Perry right here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Before all of that, though, the Patriots will unveil a statue of Tom Brady on the plaza just outside of Gillette Stadium. That ceremony is expected to begin at 6 p.m. Yesterday afternoon, the L.A. Chargers lost their starting left tackle, Rashawn Slater, to a ruptured patella tendon. He'll miss the entire upcoming season. In baseball news, the Red Sox had last night off. They're in San Diego to play the Padres tonight. The Sox lead is 1 game on Seattle for the top wild card in the American League. And Braintree, Massachusetts is going to the Little League World Series for the first time ever. They beat Bedford, New Hampshire last night 3-2 in 8 innings in the championship game of the New England Regional. They'll play Irmo, South Carolina in their first game of this double elimination tournament Thursday afternoon in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the McGovern Automotive Group. McGovern and 98.5 The Sports Hub are giving away a brand new Ford F-150. For more info on how to enter, follow 98.5 The Sports Hub and McGovern Auto Group on Instagram. Complete rules and details at 98.5thesportshub.com. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Start your day.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Work through your day.
What's that thing we do at the end of the show?
And end your day.
I'm not giving you an opinion. I don't know.
Right here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Half toucher.
Dressed like a gorilla.
Half Hardy.
A big, beautiful ball of flame.
And a whole lot of Boston sports.
And I have had many offers to become an insider.
Yeah, I think preseason is a time to go out there and get the jitters. And, real life, when I'm live, it's different for me being able to get tackled and get hit. So it's good to go out there and kind of feel like live bullets are flying around and not have that, the first, snap of the season.
Hey. Watch us on YouTube. Go to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. Bert Breer is in studio. He's the senior NFL reporter and lead content strategist for the MMQB. Bert, hello.
Hey, guys.
What airline do you fly?
Delta. I try to, at least.
What status are you on Delta?
Gold. Which isn't like, I used to be Diamond, which
I'm Diamond.
it kills me because, I can't fly.
You are?
I don't.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that. You're Diamond?
Yeah, I've said it several times.
Oh.
See, when I was Diamond, I used to get when you would fly, I think it was only in Detroit and Atlanta, which are the hubs, but there was a point where my status was so high that when I would walk up the jetway, there'd be somebody, like the limo driver signs, would be holding a sign with my name on it and then take me down a back stairwell of the jetway down onto the tarmac where there'd be like a Porsche SUV that would take me to my next SUV. Take me to the next gate.
That's a
what?
That's a status that's higher than Diamond.
Is
that's
it okay? I had that at one, but that was when I had my issues at NFL Network where I had to. I wasn't covering the Patriots. I was covering the other 31.
Right. What happened?
So I was on the. You guys have heard. We don't need to tell that story again. That was 10 years ago.
What happened?
You guys remember that?
What, with Belichick?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
When there was a year where I was legitimately on the road for 250 days. It was something like that. It was ridiculous.
Why wouldn't you just cover the Patriots? You lived here.
Yeah, it was a weird situation.
Oh, because Belichick got mad at him.
I mean, some people have some control over certain media companies, and I'll leave it at that. But it was because of that, my status was insane. And so, they would walk me down the back of the jetway, and then I would get in a Porsche, and they would ask me, do I want to go to my next gate or do I want to go to the Sky Club closest to my next gate? Because and I think in Detroit and Atlanta, they have multiple Sky Clubs. Mm-hmm. And then you would either go to your next gate or they would take you into this back entrance to the Sky Club that got you in.
What if you wanted to go to Sbarro, though? I really just want to go to Hudson
News. You didn't have to take the Porsche, but it was there for you if you wanted it. Oh.
Yeah, that's the status.
That's how you travel
above,
way too much.
That's the status. I know two comedians that have that, and that's exactly the status I was talking about. I don't even know what it's called because they probably don't.
See, I thought it was just Diamond. Is it higher than
you
Diamond?
Don't get
Okay.
Diamond status. You don't get that. Diamond status. The thing that you get is you get upgraded on upgraded on 99% of the flights, and then you also get a dedicated line to call into, which is the main thing that you get.
That's huge. Yeah.
Oh, no, it's everything.
Because
Like,
you don't you're not dealing with the automated,
yes.
It's impossible to talk to a real person.
Yes, a real person answers the phone when you call the that's the main thing.
Is that Delta 360?
Huh?
360 might be the status.
Diamond medallion, and then above that it says Delta
Diamond
360.
Yeah, Diamond 360. Delta 360's got to be what the status is above Diamond.
Yeah.
Because and I think you need to fly a lot. Like, it's not that you can't get that with credit cards. Like,
I flew Delta 1 to LA last year, which was really, really nice. And apparently somebody told me that if you fly Delta 1 out of LaGuardia, there's a separate Delta 1 lounge from the Sky Club where they have showers. There's a massage parlor. There's I mean, just insane stuff. Yeah.
So wait, Delta 1 is a status
Delta 1
on the
is
plane?
Delta 1, they don't have Delta 1 on every plane, but certain plane it's like a upper level first class. So it's and if you fly through certain airports, they have Delta 1 lounges, which is separate from the Sky Club.
Yeah, like if you fly first class on Emirates, I guess, and you're leaving Dubai or something, the lounge is
I've seen
like a
videos
cigar
from
bar.
that. Oh yeah.
Well, the Emirates, if you first class on Emirates, you have a room basically right on your plane.
Yeah, I think that you have a tiny room, but the main thing is that they do all the stuff that you get a car service to the airport, and then they take you into the airport, and they take you into the lounge, and then the lounge is a cigar bar, and then a 5-star restaurant, and there's a locker room with a massage, like Bird said, there's a sauna and a steam room and massage, and all this stuff. I don't know really why you'd want that.
The massage is just, I think, if hey, I've been traveling all day, or
no, I know why you'd want a massage. Is why you'd want a massage ever, but it's this is under the assumption I'm going to be here for a really long time. That I'm going to be at the airport. For me to get a massage and shower at the airport, I'm going to have to be there for at least 3 hours.
That's exactly what I think about. Now, on a layover, Sky Club can be really...
Well, Sky Club is just a place to sit down and plug in your phone.
Yep.
You're not... And if you drink...
And the food's decent. The food's good in there.
Hit or miss, right. But, I would... And they're so crowded now that, I mean, a lot of it's
all you need is the credit card to get in now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And so they're tweaking it, and it's pissing everyone off.
Well, because they stopped doing that for a while. They're like, nah, the credit card isn't enough to get you in anymore.
Well, the thing that I told you about this on the air one day is that there's this problem that Delta's having is that too many people got access to the club, and so now, and they equate it to a problem in the country that there is a certain amount of comforts that the upper middle class has started to expect, because and this is, I guess, an example of this, is that Delta is having a problem because so many people now have had an opportunity to go in these Sky Clubs, and now that they're having to tweak it because there's too many people, they're getting this huge blowback, and it's well, I used to live this way, and now you're taking it away from me, and I guess it's happening in a lot of areas of life that people have gotten accustomed to this certain way of living, and now they're kind of raising the bar for it. And once you've lived that way, I guess that you get, I don't care about the Delta Club at all. I just like the dedicated line, and to say that I am a Diamond Medallion member because
You are?
Do you have the bag tag, the little metal bag tag?
I mean, they sent it to me. I mean, I don't want to be gauche. I don't want to put myself up for kidnapping. I think that if you have one of those on your bag, you're going to get lifted from any airport because they know you're a man of great means.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think there are too many tricks too to get access to these things, which is probably part of their problem.
Yeah, I mean, they made it so basically, if you get a platinum card, you can get into the thing. If you get a lot of people can qualify for a platinum card, and it's $600 a year. And, people get the platinum card, as I did, years and years ago, and you can get into, and then, but the thing is that I've been to the airport where they have been too crowded and they've not let me in, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't really care.
That's my thing is when you travel like I do, I have no interest in getting to the airport early. People think some of them my friends who travel less think I'm crazy for the time I leave to get to the airport. Sometimes, like, I'll leave with because I just want to go straight onto the plane. Like, I want to go right through security. I know you got pre-checks, so you know you're probably not going to have to wait. And I mean, like, when I was living in the South End, which I was right by the tunnel, I got to make more time now living in the suburbs. I would legitimately leave because the tunnel's right there at 7:25 for like an 8 a.m. flight. Yeah, like that. I mean, but if you're going from there, it was no problem.
I have a friend who lives in the North End, and it's the same thing.
If you have pre-check and all that,
North End, you're right there.
Well, the North End, she didn't
South
care.
End's closer. No, South End, you're right at the tunnel.
Oh yeah, I guess to get
Because
into the tunnel.
you go right under, like where the ink block is. You go right under there.
All right,
and you're
there
there.
it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's the same thing with her. Like she's like, I'm picking someone up at the airport. I'm like, why the hell are you picking someone up at the airport? And she's like, it takes me 10 seconds. Like, they land and then I go, and I'm like, well, this is a standard you're setting that is not going to be your friend.
So Sky Club's great, but it's like I don't want to show up 2 hours early for a flight.
Right.
To enjoy
I don't
it.
want to be there, and I'm the same with you, Bert. The only time I'll get to the airport early is when I'm traveling by myself and I'm leaving home. That is the only time I'll show up like an hour or two early, and even then I won't go to any club or anything. I'll find a nice chair and I'll get a coffee or something, just sit and read, and I'm perfectly happy because that's when the vacation starts. As soon as I get through security and I'm by myself taking a trip, that's heaven. But if I'm with anybody or I'm leaving a place or with the family, it's like, no, we're going to time this down to the second so that we walk up and they're starting to call boarding groups.
But you're right, Fred. First class isn't enough to get you in Sky Club anymore.
No. Well, first class gets you into Sky Club.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't? Okay.
No, it doesn't, because I'm gold now. I can't get in the Sky Club. And on this trip, first class did not get me
really?
in. First class did not get me in.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I'm flying Frontier next week for the second time, which gets you the
Frontier stuff.
You won't get yelled at status, which is neat. So what they promise is the gate agent, they may not let you on with your carry-on. You're still going to have to stick it in the sizer that they keep right there at the gate. But if it's oversized, you won't get yelled at. You'll just get charged the $35. So that's a perk you get with your second flight on Frontier. No yelling.
I flew Frontier from Burbank to Vegas once, like on my camp trip, and there's a lot of things wrong with Frontier, but the biggest thing was the tray table,
bench seating.
The tray table was like the tray table was like the size of a note card. It was like, what am I even supposed to put on this?
Yeah.
It's like, and how much money are you saving by going with the smaller tray table?
My son, when he was real little,
material
I mean, it's just like unbelievable.
left like his backpack with his stuffed animal in it. He was really little when we were flying Spirit. He left it like at the gate when we got off the plane.
Oh, yeah.
When we got the baggage claim, we realized he didn't have his backpack anymore. So we were in a baggage claim, and Spirit had a office to tell them what was going on. And the office was locked, and there was a woman eating Popeye's chicken at the desk, and we were waving at her, and she was just looking at us with disdain and getting back to her chicken. And we waited there for 20 minutes, calling Spirit, and finally, begrudgingly, she unlocked the door and let us in. And then she sat down and finished her chicken while we stood there. I mean, it was an act of just. She hated us, just hated us, did not like that we were there. And we're like, hey, our son, he's 2 or 3. He had this tiny ass, glorified, teddy bear protector. And he left the teddy bear in there. Could you? And you would think that the person would be like, oh, yeah, I'll just call the gate, and see if it's there. But she's like, and she called a janitor that she knew. And I'm like, why don't you just call the gate? And she's like, she did not like that advice. But I have to get to the airport early, or I'm gonna get really angry at everyone in front of me in line. Because
how early do you have to go?
I'll leave 2 hours before my flight.
See, that's too much for me.
Well, no, because if I get there and you have to check baggage, you have to get in the baggage check line. And even in the priority line, there are people that are having conversations. They have a lot of questions that they have to ask the person behind the counter. And if I knew
That's
that
the
my
worst.
flight was taking off and I was under the gun, I mean, I'd go insane.
That's why the Orlando airport is like the seventh circle of hell. Like the amount of it's just amateur hour, even in the pre-check line. Like there's nothing worse than being behind the family that travels once a year when you're by yourself and just trying to get through the security line.
What's worse is old people that you can tell are just lonely. That's the worst. It's
They
the worst
want to
anywhere.
drum up a conversation with you
with anybody about anything.
Like Bargatze says, it's two dogs through a fence. They get up there. It's CVS. Do you have any? I was at CVS the other day, as you can imagine, picking up medicine, Hardy. As it's one of my 40 trips a month, and I was there, and the woman in front of me, the guy said, "Do you have any questions for the pharmacist?" She goes, "Huh. Can I see my prescriptions?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Can you turn the screen around?" And he turns the screen around, and she's picking up a prescription, but she went, huh. Ba 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 ba. No. Da 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 da. And she was old, so she had like 100 prescriptions, and she was just going item by item to see if something struck up some kind of curiosity of hers. Fine. And then she actually looked back at me, and it was gross because she had yoga pants on, and she was very old. And I found myself getting strangely aroused because I thought of. There's no danger of pregnancy here. We could really go raw dog. And I was looking at her, and she looked back at me, and she was just like, and then went back to her. She had an arm on the table. She was leaning into the screen. She was really settled in. My presence was of no concern of hers. None. She was just like, this guy, he's probably pretty happy that he gets to stand here because after all, it's human interaction. And then you can't get mad. Because then you start envisioning her life, and it's very lonely and sad, and so you can't get mad at her. You got to put her in your shoes.
The Nate Bargatze bit, though, about the two grandmothers who, by just circumstance, one goes to pick up their granddaughter, she goes to the wrong house, and you said it's like two dogs in a fence. You're not going to get either one of them back inside. She says, "Is my granddaughter here?" She's at the wrong house. This is my granddaughter here, and the woman who answered the door says, "I have 3 grandsons."
Oh, yeah? What are their names?
Yes.
How old are they?
You got stuff? I got stuff.
Yeah, you got grandkids? I have grandkids. Just kicking a rock with your toe. Nudging it down there.
It's going to be a while, and no kids getting picked up.
No.
They're talking.
All right. We will actually get to football with Bert, as, it is the preseason, but we have him for an hour, so we will get into the whole football thing in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
be an extension of a work. It'll be a game, and it'll give us an opportunity to go out there, but still just looking at it as a practice opportunity to continue to work and get guys the reps that we think that they're going to need for the season.
We're Toucher and Hardy. Bert Breer from MMQB is here. And Bert, you've been going around to different camps. We were talking earlier about Cincinnati. With their history of slow starts, they are playing starters they did last night, and that's the belief. Andy Reid, to my knowledge, plays starters in the preseason. Where do you think Vrabel's going to go? And as you go around to different camps, I know Aaron Glenn's playing his starters. What are the theories around camps as to what the advantages and disadvantages aside from injury?
Well, I mean, part of it's like the amount of work you're getting in. So, like, the Chiefs don't play starters because Andy Reid doesn't believe in doing joint practices. So, and the reason Andy Reid doesn't want to do joint practices is because I think the main reason is he doesn't want other people seeing what he's doing. Like, he doesn't want to give another team insight into the way that they practice, the way that they scheme, all of that different stuff. So they feel like the need to get game action for their players. The teams that do more joint practices generally use those as a replacement for the games, which I think it's become more and more prevalent because you can control it more. You can generate situations, you can generate scenarios, you can generate matchups, you can work with the other coach to get everything that you want. And you can also control the injury situation to a certain degree as well, like where if you have a guy that you maybe wouldn't feel comfortable putting in a game situation because of where he is physically, you can manage it a little bit in the joint practice setting. So I think that this is like a way of I mean, and here's the other thing too, is in the joint practices, you're not putting anything out there. You know, like that tape isn't going around to the rest of the league. Mm-hmm. So if there's a player that you want to try to sneak through the practice squad, you can get him more work in the joint practices. If there's stuff that you're working on that you want to see in more of a game setting, but you don't want to put it on tape for the teams you're playing in the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, but you don't have to do it. It just makes way more sense if you're an NFL coach to use the joint practices to get your starters ready and then use the preseason games as an evaluation tool for the bottom of your roster.
Okay.
And it makes the preseason games a freaking awful product.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
How much, because you cover, every team in the league, how much credence and how much attention do you put into these preseason games?
I mean, I was just on the road for 2.5 weeks. I came off the road for the first weekend of full preseason games, and I'm not going to any of them. That tell you?
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, like,
there's
no reason for me to go to any of them.
What could you glean from watching like the second half of the Patriots game? Like, what if you had to watch the second half of the Patriots game tonight? What could you get out of that? Like, what would you be watching?
Almost nothing. I mean, sometimes like if there's a quarterback, like that you want to see that. I don't know, like there can be little things like that, like but Shedeur Sanders would be a perfect example. Like,
but he's starting, right?
But he's starting. Like if they were healthier in their quarterback room, then Shedeur Sanders would be playing the second half.
Is the second half the competition you're playing in the second half of a NFL preseason game?
Look at these last names. Like we have a preseason game up here. Like tell me how. Like if you look at the last names, I bet you would. There's probably almost no players you recognize.
Okay, so my question is this. If you're playing in a second half of a preseason game, is the talent better or worse than in a regular SEC game?
Oh, that's a good question.
Like, because you can watch in live games these guys play in the SEC or the Big Ten. I wonder if the talent, you go, well, Fred, there's the best players from all the colleges. No, the best players in the colleges are still in college. A lot of them.
Or some of them were playing in the first half.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think, because you can go, oh, Fred, that's stupid. These are the guys that are the best. Well, no. Like Ohio State, we'll give Bert school, has a better wide receiver than anyone playing in the second half of a game.
Ohio State might have a better wide receiver right now than 90% of the NFL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, Notre Dame's got a better running back than
Right.
anyone that's going to be playing in the second half. Like,
Yeah,
there's quarterbacks that are better than anyone's going to be playing in the second half.
Look, and I don't want to minimize it because it is guys like fighting for something they've been dreaming of.
I'm talking about
lives.
you or
but
me.
as a viewer, but as a viewer, no, there's no. I mean, it's an evaluation tool for the coaches,
Right.
And for the scouts, they are, and this is like one of the craziest things about this time of year is the amount of guys there are to evaluate. Like if you're a pro scouting department, the amount of guys that there are that won't make teams that you have to evaluate just so you might put a waiver claim on them, like at the end of August. It's an incredibly huge number of players. So there's a lot to work through from the teams, and this is important stuff as far as building depth into their rosters. And there might be a guy in one of these games playing in the fourth quarter that like winds up being like the guard that you sign in November because you had injuries, and that guy might wind up being important. So I'm not saying they're not important, but I mean, from an entertainment value standpoint, that's why it kills me when you hear like Goodell say like, well, we're just, instead of there being 16 regular season games and 4 preseason games, we're just upping the quality and going to 17-3. No one views it that way.
Do you envision a time ever when they remove the preseason games entirely?
Just hold joint practices instead.
I mean, as long as they can charge people to get into them, I don't think so. I mean, because their whole model is on like 20 games total.
Yeah.
Right. So, which is it was 16-4. Now it's 17-3. Eventually it'll be 18-2. I do think they could do more with the joint practices. And I think I actually think from a fan perspective, if I were a fan, the going and seeing a joint practice would be a much better take than a preseason.
Well, I heard Felger imploring the teams to put him on TV.
That's just because Felger
doesn't want to go down to the practices.
Yeah.
They did a show from Nantucket apparently yesterday.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
He can go to Nantucket for his show, but he can't go to practice.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
I mean, I think it's I think we have to look at it for what it is. There's no reason. The season is so long as it is. 17 games is a lot, and so the idea that you're going to put extra miles on any veteran player in one of those games is like, why would you do that?
Right.
Like, look at the way that the Rams are handling Matthew Stafford right now.
He was on an epidural, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, and now they're saying that he's coming back, but just think of an epidural. That's an IV into your spine. Like they access your. It has its risks. I mean, they're putting a needle in your spine.
And somehow he's going to start practicing on Monday.
Yeah, I know. What's the deal with that?
But if you're the Rams, why in the world would you put him in a preseason game if he's like if you're ramping him up?
No, especially if he's been on the team for a long time. But I would make the argument that Aaron Rodgers should play a couple of snaps in the preseason for Pittsburgh
to get the
right.
And that's the main thing I think for most of these guys, like for the veteran players, it's the operation of it. Like I was at the Raiders camp, and they've got a very veteran coaching staff, of course, with Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly and Patrick Graham as the coordinators. And they were going to do a stadium practice the day after I was there. And I was talking to those guys about why they were doing it. And the main reason why was we just have to get used to the operation. So we want to, like for all of us, we're all new here. So getting used to just the layout of the stadium and where the play clocks are and so there's an operational aspect to it, like what you're talking about with Rodgers, where you want to get used to, okay, we're in a stadium, he's got Arthur Smith in his ear, so he's getting used to the communication of that, he's getting used to communicating to his new teammates in that setting. So there's that, but I mean, the point of diminishing returns comes very fast.
No, I know, but I would think that there is the bonus of just he's on the field in our uniform. If he's going to get hurt, dropping back 4 times, he's going to get hurt dropping back 4 times. Like, the chances of him going down within, 4 passing plays,
yeah,
I would assume are are really small, and if his body is that way, if his Achilles is going to be a problem, you're going to find out soon enough.
But there's also like, and this is not the quarterback, but this is other positions. There's a mileage aspect.
Well, no, that's other positions, but I was talking specifically about Rodgers. Like if I was Los Angeles and I was McVay, I wouldn't play Stafford. There's no reason. Stafford knows me. He knows he's been around this team. Like he's thrown to the same guys, pretty much. There's no reason for him to play. But if I got Rodgers, who's coming off a bad year, and it was bad, and the year before that an injury, and he's on a new team with new coaches and new players, I might want to get him into a game for my own edification. Like I might want to see him play in a game just so I could see it.
And there's a way to like play call around that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like
like I'm not like putting him in danger.
Seven step drop.
Right, exactly. I'm not having him throw 40 yards downfield and holding on to the ball. But I could have him dump it off a couple times. I just want to see him drop back.
See him move around a little bit.
And see him move around a little bit. And see him like have to handle live bullets, like where there's a chance you could get tackled.
There's just no value.
I would want to see that if I was Tomlin. I really would.
Yeah. I mean, I think like you can generate most of it in a joint practice.
But they're not getting hit in the joint practice, the quarterbacks.
They aren't, and that's where the mileage thing comes in.
Okay, can I give you...
How many hits do you have on your body?
Right, but again, you can put them in situations we've talked about where they don't get hit. Like, I can give you an example. When Rodgers played for the Jets and he got hurt, the first two times he dropped back, he just let him hit him.
Right.
Like, he went into a ball and I think that you could have maybe gotten that out of the way in the preseason. Like, you could have just said, here's a live rush.
Here's an example. Right. I think the best example is like a quarterback coming back from an ACL has to get used to bodies being around his legs. And so putting him out there in a live situation where he knows he could get hit can accelerate the process a little bit. And like you get those reps so you're a little bit more comfortable than if you just had been going into the regular season without a dry run. So there are benefits to it. But
I could convince myself, Bert, that Rodgers doesn't get hurt in the regular season if he played in the preseason. Because, like we said, the play.
You think so?
Yes, because
those Achilles aren't the Achilles generally like?
I don't think he gets hit like
eventually...
that. I don't know. I didn't know that. It's like a gradual thing.
Achilles can be like a gradual thing where there's fraying, and I don't know if it was like one of those things where it was bound to snap no matter what.
Because it really looked like he had not played football. Like it just looked like he hadn't played football. Like he was being like obstinate. That he was just not used to it.
I look at what happened to Rodgers. I don't know if I'd call it a special case because he's so old and he's coming off that major surgery, but it just seems like he's one of one in this particular situation. He has to be handled differently because of how old he is, the injury, the changing of the teams.
My point is this, John, that if he's going to get hurt taking 7 snaps in a game, he's going to get hurt early in the season.
That's fair. That's fair, I think.
But if you're a left tackle and there's a play where you get rolled up on and you get hurt, you go, Jesus Christ, that might only happen a couple times this season, and it happened in this game. Now he's gone.
Yeah.
But a quarterback, if they're going to get hurt, because I'm not putting in it like we talked about again, where I'm not putting him in a position to get hit. I'm going to put him in a position where he's getting rid of the ball fast.
Yeah.
I really just want that danger of being hit there, and. If by some miracle someone nicks him and he goes down and hurts himself, then I'm guessing that was going to happen.
So I remember this this thing Jerome Bettis did before he retired, like his last year. And it was a really honest conversation he had with somebody. I might have been Chris Collinsworth, whoever it was, somebody on TV. And it was about how, as he got older, the point of the week where he felt okay again kept backing up. So when he was young, it was like I would play on Sunday and I'd feel okay on Monday or Tuesday, and then it's Wednesday, and then it's Thursday. And like he said, this is the very end. He was like now he's like Saturday, I still have to pick myself up to try to get myself ready to play. And so when guys get later in their career and they have that sort of mileage on their body, the idea of putting extra mileage on in the preseason makes no sense.
This is a quarterback, though. I'm talking about a quarterback.
And a quarterback, like I do think to some degree, there is that, how many hits do they have, right? Like, so how many hits can you take at that position? And like, this is the conversation I had with a handful of Rams people about Stafford when I was there, was he only has so many bullets left in the gun. And so they estimated, they said he's probably about 85% right now. This was earlier this week that I was with them. It's probably at like 85% right now. It's like, so why would we put him out there at practice when we can have Jimmy Garoppolo go out there who can give us a reasonable facsimile and run the offense efficiently, and we feel like he's a starting level quarterback, and save those bullets and get Matthew up to 100% before we put him out there? Like, and that was sort of their approach was there's only so many bullets he's got left in his gun. Mm-hmm. And we don't want to be firing them in the preseason. We don't want to be firing them in a training camp practice. And Stafford's a special case too, I think, because he is so beat up from everything in Detroit. But
I think he's 85% without going in for an epidural 2 days ago. Like, I don't believe that he's actually 85%. I think his baseline is probably 85% after all that he's been through.
All right, well, you have to break. We'll be back, and we'll get more from Bert. Plus, we'll get you qualified to win the car. We'll do all that in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots open up their preseason tonight in Foxborough against the Washington Commanders.
sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
Are here in a couple minutes. Bert, I'm not going to say anything, but how often do people, when ex-football players don't like something you said, how much of an undertone of violence is there when they say something? Is there like are they trying to be like in some way threatening?
No, I wouldn't say it's like, it's aggressive because that's who they are. But I would rather, honestly, like I always say this to the people I cover, I just get pissed with me.
Right.
Like I would much rather have somebody get angry with me and yell at me than like them harbor something for a couple of years. Because I have been in those situations too, where it's like there'll be somebody I was close to, like I'll have an interact. That wasn't right.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then they won't like be as responsive with me. And then 2 years later, I'll find out like they were mad at me about something. I would much rather someone just come out and say like, no, like call me out on something if they felt like, like something I said was off base.
Yeah, I am too empathetic to visual cues. I read them too much.
Like you read way too much into your interactions?
In my interactions with people. So like any slight sign of boredom or
that things are off.
Or that things are off, I then I'm then into a frenzy. But you can get into a relationship with a person where you're not even really giving each other visual cues because it's just gone. Like that whole thing's gone. All right, here's the deal. We are giving, along with McGovern Automotive, we are giving away a Ford F-150. That is right. And I am going to give the Instagram account. Thank you, Bert, for backing off the mic.
Maybe you want to turn that off.
The Instagram account that we are trying to get the attention of is JetMiss_X. You now have 985 seconds. That's 16 minutes and 25 seconds to call us back at 617-931-0985 to qualify to win a 2025 F-150 from McGovern Automotive Group and 98.5 The Sports Hub. There you go. There you go. That was correct, Adam. I am right there.
Yes.
That was all correct information. Thank you.
Well done, Bert. Thank you.
Well, the magic word for me was F-150. Once I heard F-150, then I pushed the mic away.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
That's professionalism. All right, quickly, ESPN getting into bed with the NFL, and getting the NFL Network and Red Zone, and they have gambling books. What does this mean, if anything?
I think from a consumer standpoint, for everybody listening out there, the big thing that they wanted was Red Zone because it's going to help them with their direct-to-consumer product. I think what's interesting about it from ESPN's perspective as well is that I can't envision a scenario when we're going into this environment in 3 or 4 years when there are new television deals. How hard is it to imagine an environment now where ABC, ESPN, Disney is not part of the equation? They're almost going to have to be, right? Because ESPN is literally now in business with them.
But how do
when
the
Apple
other
TV or
networks
YouTube
feel?
or Netflix or whoever else gets into the mix to bid on games, and the broadcast situation could look a lot different in 3 years, 4 years. This is basically guarantees are going to be part of the equation.
But at the same time, we were talking about this yesterday, if I'm NBC, if I'm CBS, if I'm Fox, if I'm Amazon, isn't ESPN going to get preferential treatment from here on in? Because they're in bed with the NFL. I mean, think about how much money those networks are giving the National Football League to broadcast their product, and it's not an even playing field.
And think about this. How about for the players? Because the players get a slice of the revenue, right? But now we're talking about the NFL having equity in ESPN, which might mean ESPN pays less for their chunk of the broadcast deals.
Exactly.
Because the NFL. So now, how, if you're a player, do you look at that? Because part of the players take the salary cap is literally based on a percentage of the revenue. But if that equity the NFL has in ESPN, which is part of, again, you're earning the league that money by playing in games that are on ESPN, now the league owns 10% of ESPN. Like, where's your chunk of that?
Oh, it's like a workaround.
Right.
Yeah. And it's
the same thing as Vrabel saying back in the day, like, him complaining about Patriot Place. There are all these different ways to create revenue off of your football team or your football league that can be buried or hidden or not put into the equation with the revenue pie.
Well, it's smart. I mean, that is true. All right. And then how can they still run a gambling book that takes action on the NFL if the NFL owns 10% of it?
This is a slippery slope.
It's bad.
It is.
Bert,
and I don't
the NFL's really playing Russian roulette here with this stuff.
Well, it's this private equity mentality that exists with owners now, which is just profits over everything. I mean, I've felt like for the last 10 years, this is not a publicly traded company, but they operate now as if they're answering to shareholders.
Yeah.
Where if things aren't growing, they get uncomfortable. And you hear these things about head counts in different organizations, head counts at the league office. There's some really, there was, I know a coach who got fired in one place because the owner put a head count on the coaching staff, which is wild, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this coach who got fired had I would say a 20-year relationship with the head coach, but he was the guy that was most expendable. His position was most expendable, so they got rid of him. So there's this mentality now, I think, in the league where that exists and profits over everything, which flows into, well, now your ethics are going out the window with gambling. For people who don't understand this, because I feel like there's a huge misunderstanding of why can't players bet? The games have to be on the level. That is the very existence. That's what separates it from professional wrestling. And the minute you start to have the minute you invite gambling in the door, we're talking about something completely different. And so they have to be really careful with this stuff. And there's a reason why Goodell 10 years ago would get up there and say, talk about gambling as if it was the devil. There's the integrity of the game stuff is really important, and
it's so slippery because it's not just the league investing as we know in a company that is covering the league. It is also a company that is in the sports gambling business,
right?
And now you not only have to question the access that ESPN is going to get, but forget about the access. Are they going to cover these stories properly?
Yeah.
Because of who partly owns them, and are they going to do real investigations into gambling stories when it's going to put their profits at stake and put the profits of the NFL at stake?
So here's and I would just say this, with NFL Network, for example, I would say at this point the owners have a direct line. If they don't like something that's on that network, then naturally they have a direct line to do something about it. And so that's where the conflict of interest is with, if you work there, how it can be a difficult place to work. So now, because the owners have equity in ESPN, do they feel at liberty to call Jimmy Pitaro or someone high up in that network and say, you can't do this or you can't run? And then does ESPN have to make the decision because they have this massive business relationship with the NFL? Does ESPN now have to make the decision to squash a story that might be a really relevant story, a story that would get them a lot of eyeballs? I mean, there are all those sorts of questions that are fair, and that's journalism.
That diminishes ESPN as a product, but that's their decision to make. What is completely mind-boggling is that they can run a sports book where they could dictate lines based on their reporting. Right. That's what's strange. You can move a line 1.5 points based on some injury news or floating something out there. I mean, that's a very real thing. And now you got to watch these reporters that are reporting on the NFL. If ESPN wants to be a crappy vanilla product, that's up to them. And they want to get in bed with all the leagues. People will know it, and that opens up a market for people that aren't with the league, and they can represent themselves as an independent voice. So that's fine with me. What's strange is that you can then run a sports book and be in bed with the league that's running the sports book, so everyone's involved in the gambling. And if there's hundreds of millions of dollars being flowed through that thing every week,
right?
And it's all being bet on football, and you can manipulate lines based on a little bit of reporting. That puts everyone under a microscope.
It does. I mean, the simplest way to put it is if there's a way to literally profit off the results of the games, then that puts you in a compromised position.
Right.
And so if the NFL is in that position, and this is why so many people paid attention when the NFL started getting involved in fantasy and then daily fantasy, and it's like, well, wait a minute, this is really gray. Where's the difference between daily fantasy and fantasy and actual sports gaming? And if there's a way to, like, if the NFL has a method where they can literally profit directly off the results of the games, I don't know how anybody could view that as, yeah, that's fine, no problem. So that to me is, there's a lot of questions.
Yeah, this is the ESPN, and if I'm ESPN and I'm the league, I'm like, just get rid of the sports book, just get rid of it. Like, we're making so much money, just get rid of the sports book. But they're not going to want to do that.
No,
and then
because they have, like, ESPN literally has shareholders to answer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just a mess. All right, Bert, thank you so much for the time. As always, thank you for coming in. He'll be back next Friday, and we'll be back in just a moment with some in-depth news on Hardy as we poke around his psyche virtually.
Stay tuned for more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right, men. Summer is here. That means longer days, warm nights, vacations, date nights, and if you have erectile dysfunction, you know.
tackled and get hit. So it's good to go out there and kind of feel like live bullets are flying around and not have that, the first, snap of the season.
We'll have the pregame at 4:30 this afternoon with Mark Bertrand and Chris Gasper, and then a kickoff at 7:30 with Bob Sosi and Phil Perry here on 98.5 The Sports Hub. Before tonight's game, the Patriots will unveil a statue of Tom Brady just outside the stadium on the plaza next to the team's Hall of Fame. That ceremony begins at 6 o'clock. Yesterday, L.A. Chargers starting left tackle Rashawn Slater suffered a non-contact rupture of his patellar tendon. He is out for the entire upcoming season. In baseball news, the Red Sox had last night off. They opened up a 3-game series in San Diego against the Padres tonight. Walker Buehler will pitch. And Braintree, Massachusetts is going to the Little League World Series for the first time ever. They beat Bedford, New Hampshire last night 3-2 in 8 innings in a championship game of the New England Regional. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the Colossal Lobster Rolls at the 99. Choose hot, buttered, or traditional, both built to the hilt with chunks of North Atlantic lobster, served with fries and coleslaw. You gotta love the nines. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 8:30.
Listen to it, laugh at it, get mad at it, agree with it, argue about it. It is Boston Sports. Boston Sports. And it is all we do. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
And now, back to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy. You can watch us on YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And watch us. Like it. I don't even know if you can like it. Maybe you can. And then the algorithm just starts spraying all over the place.
It's money for all of us.
Yeah.
Tons of cash.
But it's good. You can watch us, and that video is up there in perpetuity, I believe. So you can go back and watch shows of yore, I would assume. I would guess.
Yes.
There's a big catalog of them, and that must be fun. And a good little encapsulation of time. And I, as a matter of fact, was given I was sent I didn't ask for it. There was no explanation, but it was a AI ChatGPT psychic reading of me. Now, I debated whether or not to do it on the air because it could be looked upon as a great form of narcissism, which I'm not prone to do as an only child and as a radio host.
You're right, which you've never been accused of before.
No, I've never self-diagnosed, never. I had a severe narcissism. But I did. I'm like, you know what? We got a little time to kill. So I read it. And strangely enough, everyone seemed interested. Everyone in the room seemed interested. And then listeners seemed interested. And it didn't seem overly far off. Now, the woman told me why she sent it to me. And it was because we had been talking about AI. So that's a little bit more comforting because I don't know why she had done it in the first place. But there you go. So, and good for her. She's given us this good bit. But I'm a public figure. So I'd asked the one of our interns, hey, would you mind putting yourself in ChatGPT and seeing what it says? You don't have to show it to me, obviously. Can you use it on the air? But just can you see if it works? And she's like, it doesn't work. So we tried it with Nick and John. And John's that Nick got, of course, who would have known? A listener got a way better one by just doing it themselves. But Nick's was like way off because there's no information about Nick. Now, Hardy has been on the radio for a very long time. So there should be some good information about Hardy. But Hardy, out of all of us, is the one least prone to public self-reflection, I would assume.
That sounds fair. I
don't like it.
I know.
I know you don't like it.
I know, which is why we're doing it.
Hardy is not someone who, hides stuff. But there is, underneath it all, that Midwestern dad of quiet stoicism that he wants to portray.
There's that wall.
There's nothing wrong,
behind. Yeah.
and whatever is wrong, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
But you can tell. But then when you get to know him, you can tell that stuff's bothering him.
Yes,
and in the way that he, and I could read it. Like, I know when he first started the show, he was nervous because who wouldn't be? I mean, you're starting a new show, and I had to put myself in his shoes, and I was like, okay, Hardy's nervous. I'm just going to handle it like Hardy's nervous. da-da-da-da. Because he's not going to come out and go, dude, I'm nervous. Like, it just was like a thing, and now he's not, and he hasn't been for a long time. But I know stuff. I think I know Hardy well enough to see that stuff's bothering him, and I have a feeling this will bother him.
I glanced at it. I didn't like it, so 12 said, you just read the thing that was sent to me, and this guy has been very cool. Zachary Keefe, who sent these and did these with his Chat GPT. He did say, by the way, at the end, it asks if you want a formal DSM-6 diagnosis. He said, what do you say, Hardy? All I have to do is type yes. No, I don't want that.
What's a DSM diagnosis?
I don't know. I don't even like this first part from what I read of it.
So if you're the audience, just know this is killing Hardy, so it should add to your enjoyment. This is not an act. Hardy does not want to do this. Me, I'll listen to myself. Even if it's bad, I'll eat it up. Me? Oh, don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But Hardy's not like that.
Yeah.
Hardy.
It's a diagnostic and statistical manual of mental disorders.
Okay.
Oh, let's do that.
So that's why Hardy said no to that.
Well, first of all, the psychiatric community is so advanced, I'm sure it would be dead on. It would be all dead on.
Exactly.
As they're just, like, again, throwing darts at a dartboard. But they are starting to scan brains and get physical evidence of abnormalities. I'm having trouble talking this week. All right, here we go. Are we ready, Adam? We are ready. Let's dive into the brain. Can AI, John, you and I will be the judge. I have not looked at this.
Okay.
Call me now for your free reading.
Okay.
Yeah, don't get too wild. You stay focused on that. I like when you make the drops. So you got a tough work here because you're going to have to do drops and react to this.
Okay.
All right, patient case study, Hardy, Rob Poole. Diagnosis, latently actualized self-narrative fragmentation syndrome. And his subtype, which we all have. Broadcast ego balancing disorder with media integration complex. Now, this is a way that this was not done for me because I did not have a diagnosis at the front. So already Hardy's behind the 8 ball. His presenting persona, Hardy exhibits a media synthesized, effectively flattened Anchorman ego. His tone is resonant, tempered, and symmetrical. Rarely does his cadence deviate from an internalized schema of collaborated cool.
That sounds right. Right so far.
It's funny how they, like, analyzed his voice. Like, the computer just, like, goes through all our shows.
Yeah. I didn't even
Isn't
think
that
about
great?
that. Yeah, that's good.
Isn't that fantastic? Don't you love that?
Well, we'll see how on point it is because in a way it could be good and in a way it could be
bad.
This suggests... All right, so he's got this synthetic calibrated cool. This suggests early imprinting of sonic consistency as a protective mechanism, like triggered by chaotic pre-digital rock DJ environments.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It was so chaotic when you were talking up records, I guess.
I guess to balance out the chaos of like the rock DJ environment, I felt like you and I have talked about, Fred, when you're on the air with somebody who is like one way, you feel the need to like kind of balance it out.
I've never heard of that. Is that right? Is that what happens?
Yeah,
on some shows.
It does happen. So maybe like if you're just alone in a room and like you know Extreme Radio Las Vegas, blah, 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 it's all Static X and Mudvayne, and then it come on like, all right, let's restore the chi in here.
Of course.
After all that.
Well, you're supposed to be conversational on the radio, which is the hardest thing, is talking like you would talk normally, and you don't even want to think about it too much while you're doing it, because you might start. Because people don't talk like they normally talk, and the way you interview them is to try to get them comfortable enough to talk normally.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like, you're playing all this, like, hard-on rock, and you don't want to be that guy.
Right, you don't want to come
so
on
you're
and
over-correcting.
Yeah, and try and match what you just heard on that.
Right. And if there's someone manic on the air, to pull that, for the listener to pull that down to like a tolerable level, you have to really get dry.
The System of a Down record ends. It's like, well, I'm not going to try and match that.
Yeah, you can't match that, and then you become like almost a parody of something matching that. I understand. His on-air rhythm reflects a sublimated need for control over temporary entropy. Did I pronounce that right? If I did, I'm doing a hell of a job. That is, he keeps time Not just the literal kind, but emotional tempo, conversational weights, show gravity. He is the gyroscopic stabilizer in a centrifuge of ego collision. Sure. I mean, who knows? Hardy, I don't even know. I kind of get what that's saying. I don't understand. Fine. That would make you a good radio personality. Hardy's effect regulation reveals a right brain, left mic duality. His offhand quips and dry as toast sarcasm betray an undercurrent of Jungian shadow repression, desires, frustrations, and judgments projected as irony, never direct confrontation. The man will metaphysically gut you with a smile and a monster mash music bed.
That paragraph is scary how accurate it is. Like when I read through this, that was the piece that I was like, good grief. That's like an actual licensed therapist sitting down with Hardy for a year. And
it's better than a licensed therapist, to be honest with you.
Because this is saying more than a therapist would say?
A therapist would say nothing.
No, because this is free.
How do you feel about the Monster Mash music bed? Something like that.
No. They would just go, uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you're giving way too much credit to therapists. Yeah, everyone I've been to would just be like, uh-huh. I liked them.
I had a woman who did that. How do you feel about
that would
this?
be a gift from God.
Yeah.
They go like, how do
you guys
feel
need a
about
better therapist.
Well,
So
maybe one that's not $20 a minute.
What is it that spoke to you in that last part? Because that I mean, what, the sarcasm or the look or what?
Yes, just and just your ability to. Let me pull out the phrase again here. Judgments projected as irony.
Yeah.
That's a big part of Hardy's
Now
persona.
we're cooking with gas.
What did McCone's Monster Mash tell them? A latent creativity? An inability to find humor? I'm kidding. But it wasn't good what McCone did, and he shouldn't have done it, to be honest with you. His Monster Mash headline segment is, in fact, I like how this is like your... in bold, that this is your legacy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Well, it's better than being drunk. His Monster Mash headline segment is, in fact, a ritualized processing of absurdity, a structured return to chaos with an illusion of order. It's not a bit, it's a defense mechanism, blah, blah, blah. That's unfair. It sounds like
the AI found a lot of Monster Mash headline videos online when it started searching my name. And
but the funny thing is, it decided to stay there for a while.
Yeah,
kind of dwell in it instead of the rest of your work.
Let's
just hang out here in this corner.
Find out everything we need to know about this guy by these 10 Monster Mash headlines he did over the decade.
Over 30 years of radio. 25 years of radio. Hardy's radio lineage, spinning alt-rock debauchery to sanitize morning drive sports banter. Has produced a split subject syndrome because the realness of the Korn and Limp Bizkit playlist as juxtaposed to this phony baloney crap show.
This is all sanitized.
This has been very sanitized. Right. This is as opposed to the strippers and boobies, Static X
snorting rails off the console 10 seconds before you got to crack the mic.
Yeah. Nothing spells authenticity like man cow. Hardy's radio lineage, who's so talented, spanning alt-rock debauchery. Bubba the Love Sponge. That's where you really get your solid realism. He thinks he can take over Stern's spot, by the way.
No,
because Stern's the only guy that blessed him. He's the only guy Stern blessed.
I see.
Which I think might have been a budgetary concern more than anything else at that point. I don't think Stern was apt to pay the other people on the channel any money.
Has he talked about actually taking over the channel?
He has, because he's riding high from this Brooke Hogan appearance that was on his show. Because, Bubba's the one that taped him banging his wife.
Right.
So, that's been an albatross around his neck, strangely enough. Yeah. Hardy's radio lineage, spanning alt-rock debauchery to sanitized morning drive sports banner, has produced split subject syndrome. Part audio philosopher, parsing meaning through tone and inflection. Part cognitive janitor, sweeping up conceptual messes by code hosts. Part, very true. Part phantom lead, always adjacent to the spotlight, never quite consumed by it. This is double. Thank you for saving paper, Adam. From both Schrodinger's
co-host. It's a riff on Schrodinger's cat.
I don't know what that means.
It's the conundrum of the cat that's been sealed in the box with the radioactive substance, so it's got a 50-50 chance of living and dying. It's
old gag.
It's a philosophical.
Of course,
thing.
who hasn't heard of that?
If Adolfo were here with his
Kierkegaard
background, he'd be able to explain it better. But
first paragraph.
But it's building off of this whole Hardy is in two places at once kind of.
Okay, and shows superego, present aware, and keeping it from devolving into id-driven chaos. Thank you for that. Sublimated frustration matrix. Do not get fooled by the calm delivery and pronounced bemusement. Within Hardy is a stifled killjoy gremlin, gnashing its teeth in response to missed sound cues, drop segments, or Nick forgot to press record again scenarios. On-air annoyances minimally exhaled, like a controlled leak from a psycho-emotional stream. He's not mad, no, he's just disappointed, which in his universe is far worse. That sigh?
That's so on
On
point.
the money. Oh, man, that's the best thing yet.
That slightly slow delivery after Fred jumps in early, that's existential throat clearing.
Wow, you should to wrap up, Fred. You should skip ahead to the treated
Are you
recommendation
turning red?
section, which is the second to last.
Let me give me 1 second to get into this because my name is mentioned.
Ryan, focus in on
Not the
Hardy
real
there.
spelling though. Hardy's dynamic with Fred Toucher is one of complementary psycho vectors. Fred, unfiltered limbic lobe.
Yeah, limbic lobe. That's what we call you, old limbic lobe.
Yeah, I mean, as opposed to Lisa Loeb, who you played with yourself even though she had glasses on. Hardy's frontal cortex with noise-canceling headphones. Where Fred is stream of consciousness, Hardy is stream of editing. His internal editor of the show's psyche, applying structure and tonal neutrality like a psychological bouncer at the door of chaotic content. They need each other, but Hardy always has 1 foot outside the id pool, observing, correcting, possibly disassociating.
Definitely disassociating.
Can I get some credit for being able to pronounce these words?
Yeah, you've been
really
you've
impressive.
been going pretty strong for.
There's
you.
the id
I
taking
mean,
off again.
Yeah.
The super ego.
Yeah.
Well, how's your gremlin? What was it? The internal gremlin? What do you have there?
The killjoy gremlin.
Killjoy gremlin. That's
Well, I'm no Nazi being able to pronounce these German words back to me. All right,
Treated recommendation.
I'm there.
Good.
Treated recommendation. All right, let's fix you. Controlled ego release exercises. Let him fully monologue about B-sides, turntable belt tension. They're saying you're really boring, and the history of Radio Shack microphones without interruption.
And a bit of a hole.
This restores identity cohesion. Yeah, get it on track again, you lady. Hey there, empty skirt. Get this segment back on track. Segment dominance therapy. Once a month, Hardy runs the board. Opens the show.
Like a good bit.
Opens the show. Boy, I let you off the leash, my friend.
Yeah.
Chooses the music as opposed to now where you're stifled in that.
Right.
The others must follow. That can only be a dream. Imagine opening the show. Active validation cue training. Co-host to say good call, Hardy, at least twice per segment, regardless of content. Operates as cognitive sustenance. Do you feel like you're not given enough credit? That could be accused of in the past.
I feel fine.
good call, Hardy.
Adam, do you get the impression that Hardy's not getting enough credit?
Well, I don't think I get that impression, but I do think it's still a good job to say, good call, Hardy.
There it is. That's our minimum.
I don't need or want that.
I don't think he wants
Which is
that.
why he should get it.
Exactly.
Just twice a segment. Can you
Listen,
imagine
good call,
shoehorning? Like if you go in my ear and like we're like I'm mad about something, you get in my ear and you're like, you forgot to tell Hardy good job.
Good call, Hardy.
Hardy's about to snap.
Oh,
if he
geez,
kills
now-
you,
now I'm
that's on
thinking-
you for not saying good job.
Now I'm thinking about a completely different bit of like using one of these to trick a consultant, because you know, like a radio consultant would dig into this big. This is gold. This is great. We can reimagine your show with this.
And they would never say they got it through AI.
No,
they would
of
just
course.
report it as that they were so keenly aware of your
course.
your subconscious.
Hardy, thank you. You know what? Good call, Hardy. for
Hardy
agreeing to do this bit.
Hardy needs to be let off the leash and just let this kid run free.
Yeah.
And then while he's at it, give him a little pat on the back.
And let me run the board.
Yeah.
Whatever
Come
the
on
hell
in.
that means.
Yeah. I mean, you can run these. You can turn the mics on and off unless it's overridden by the other board that actually
Let me run
works.
that useless board for
Yeah,
a little while.
you can sit in front of a board that doesn't do anything. It did, but much like our shame and our sense of self-worth, it gradually gets taken away. All right, there you go. So there's Hardy. Feel free to email him, hardy@985thesportshub.com.
Yeah, let's talk more about feelings.
And you can get into his feelings real deep into it. All right, Mike Giardi is going to join us in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, those scamps.
smart, versatile, so it'll be a good matchup.
For Toucher and Hardy, Mike Giardi, of course, has covered the Patriots and the NFL forever. He's with Boston Sports Journal, and he's kind enough to join us. Mike Giardi, hello, sir.
Hello, Fred. Hello, Hardy. Hello, John.
Hi, Mike.
Good morning.
Mike, not a fan of getting up before 8.
No.
No fan.
Not at all.
No, it's 100% truth.
Listen, I like a man who has ideals and stays with them. That I like. All right, Mike. What are you looking for tonight? Just what do you expect and what are you looking for? Give for us laymen, what can a fan of the Patriots hope to glean from this evening's game?
Well, what I'm hoping for is that they don't play anybody of any importance. I think they're paper thin in a lot of spots. Quarterback, you don't want anything to happen to Drake. They got in good work on Wednesday in the joint practices. I'd say the same for someone like Will Campbell, who I know a lot of people are anxious to see, but I don't think they know who's the guy behind him if something happens to him. So to me, first things first, I'd like to see a long list of guys that are inactive for tonight's game because, quite frankly, they don't have anything behind them, and I don't need to see someone go down in a meaningless preseason game. Not that it can't happen in a practice either, but yeah, that's first things first. And I think there's some battles that you're kind of looking for.
Well, let's explore the not playing thing first. We've talked about this with Bird, and we talked about it a couple times today. Like Cincinnati, because of their struggles early in the season, are playing guys. Andy Reid always plays guys. You are of the mind that it's just not worth it? Because I guess the argument is if you're a quarterback, you can't get hit in practice, and that's a good thing. But is not having live action and the chance of being hit before you play in the regular season a good thing?
I think for Drake May right now, it would be a good thing. I think if you just look at the overall tenor of camp here, Fred, where they've had 3 walkthroughs and 12 practices. There hasn't been a ton of hitting in practices. So I know genuinely we would say hey, you got to sort of callous the body for the real stuff. But I think there's enough contact that it's fine. I think Mike is sort of bringing them along at a controlled pace. And he has been historically, this is what he did in Tennessee as well. So, does that mean you could be a little bit behind the 8 ball when September starts? I guess it could be. I guess the past history with Tennessee says it is, but he's sort of running this camp in the same manner. So I don't love the idea of it. I mean, I personally think you could, nuke all of preseason and just have controlled practices and the joint practices and those sorts of things. But of course, the league hasn't figured out how to make money off of that yet. So until they do, this is what we're stuck with.
And why is it, Mike? Because Vrabel even alluded to that yesterday. He said, this is just an extension of practice. And, he called it that. He, was tiptoeing into some very dangerous waters, I think, in terms of what the league wants out there is the narrative. Don't call it an exhibition. Don't call it a glorified scrimmage or practice. It's supposed to be a game. But why are the joint practices seen as being more valuable than this game? Is it strictly because of the personnel, or is there more that they get out of a joint practice than they do a game like they're playing tonight?
Well, I think they can just control the script, right? We'll make sure that Drake May is going to see 3rd and 11 and 3rd and 6 and 3rd and 2, or hey, this is the 4th and we got to have it play in the red zone. You can't guarantee that's going to happen in a preseason game. You could go through them like a hot knife through butter, or it could just be a slog, and then they're out there for 2 series and they literally got nothing accomplished. Whereas this, you can just sort of script it to the point where, hey, Dan, on 3rd down, at least on one of these 3rd downs, can you make sure that you blitz us from the left side so we test our rookies? I think there is sort of some of that back and forth with the coaches beforehand so that they know, hey, I'm looking for this. If you can give me that, that'd be great. And you're looking for that, and we'll do that for you. So I think it just allows to kind of control what happens in that regard and see, hey, now we put this on tape, and now I can show my guys, hey, this is the right thing to do, or this wasn't the right thing to do. But it's a different look, and you're getting different players. It's not, when we do these regular practices, they do get tired of blocking each other. It's kind of hard to be honest when hey, this guy can't go. It's like basketball. This guy can't go to his left. Okay, so I'm just going to play him to the right because I play him all the time. They get to that point in camp, too, where it's just I've seen this guy a million times. I've seen this move a million times. I know what it is.
All right. In that controlled environment, Mike, by all accounts, the Patriots kind of held their own against a pretty good NFC team. Is it okay for Patriots fans to feel positive about that, or is it just a box you check on the way to the regular season?
No, I think you should feel positive about it, particularly when you go back to last year and what Philadelphia did to them in the joint practices, which was one of the most embarrassing things you've ever seen. It was just like they weren't ready from an organizational standpoint. They didn't have enough talent, and I think it was 15 sacks and 14 completions over the course of that day. I mean, it was awful. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. This wasn't that. This was, hey, got off to a slow start defensively, picked it up, started to do some good things against Jaden Daniels. And an offense that, hey, look, they're missing Terry McLaurin. That's a pretty big deal. But, these are the guys that are out there. You're missing Gonzalez and Davis, and you did a nice job. And the offense, Greg was watching the offense more than I was, but just going back and talking to people about it, it was like ball came out of Drake's hands quickly. The line did a pretty solid job. And, okay, this is a positive, sort of momentum builder as you get closer to the season. I think they're trying to instill a belief that, hey, you don't suck. This is new. We've got some good players. We can take a big step here, and I think this was part of that.
I saw some of Greg's recap on the joint practice, and he mentioned something I hadn't thought of. I mean, every year there are people who get cut that you don't expect to get cut. He mentioned that Kyle Duggar's job might be up for grabs here. Do you agree with that?
I think it's interesting the way he's been used probably the last week. Greg Woodson, the fourth-round pick out of California, has kind of slid into the first team at times, and Kyle's the one that comes out. So could just be, hey, look, we like what we've seen from him. We want to get him some more reps with the ones, and we know what Kyle is. Or it could just be Kyle's making a lot of money. He doesn't cover very well. He's basically, to me, Kyle's been the same player since he came into the league. He's real good against the run, aggressive, will knock your socks off. But when you get him in space and force him to cover, he's not very good at that. So they probably want a little bit more balance out of their safety. And maybe if they think Craig Woodson can give that, it could put Duggar on the trade block.
All right. Wow. What would be the return for a Kyle Duggar?
I would guess probably nothing more than a third-day pick, but I tend to be on the low side on all these things. I guess maybe somebody might give you a third-round pick, but he's making a good chunk of money, so I would probably tend to think it's a fifth or sixth-round pick.
Okay.
Let me ask you something nobody ever wants to talk about. With an offense that might struggle a little bit, especially in red zone work. How's the kicking situation? I love talking about kickers.
I love nothing pleases me more than to talk about kickers, Hardy.
I know it.
Borigalis has not missed since I think the first day of camp.
Oh, hello.
So
yeah.
You draft a kicker, you might. I don't want to get too carried away because this is the third kicker they've drafted in 5 years, but maybe, just maybe, they got this one right.
Nice.
You've never probably heard this phrase before, but let's see how the kid does when the bullets are flying.
Oh, Fred, that's new. Fred, that's real good. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, that would be like you itching your nose on TV to me, like you used to wiggle your nose. Like if you could just say, let's see how the kid does when the bullets are flying. I'll know that you know if you write that. Like just say, hey, the kid hasn't missed. Let's see how he does when the bullets are flying. I'll know that that's a shout out to me.
Fred, anytime I can shout out you, I will.
All right. Thank you, Mike. Mike Giardi, read him.
Guys.
Boston Sports Journal. Always appreciate you coming on. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good stuff, as always. We love Mike, and we also love dildos. Of course we do. And boy, oh boy. The WNBA and dildos. It is getting to code red.
Another step last night.
You got cryptocurrency involved, and dildo gate just keeps building on itself. You had a coach in a PR move straight out of the Jordan Hudson book, pulling reporters aside and to specifically deliver a monologue on the feminist reaction to dildos being thrown on the court and how this is speaking to since civilization has been the role of the female in society, it's a whole thing, and all it's going to do is make more people throw dildos. So we have that going. I mean, these guys are all up on these huge charges too, and it's like none of this. This is just it's nonsense. Like you're not going to indecent exposure for throwing a dildo. Get out of here. You're not that. What are you doing? just peppering charges to like dissuade people from doing it. Now, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to the WNBA game either. But here are the headlines.
Sports Hub headlines, presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
Patriots will play their only home exhibition game of the summer tonight. They'll play the Washington Commanders at Gillette Stadium. We'll have the pregame at 4:30 with Mark Bertrand and Chris Gasper, and the kickoff at 7:30 with Bob Sosi and Phil Perry right here on your flagship radio station for the Patriots, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Before we get underway with that, the Patriots will unveil a statue of Tom Brady on the plaza just outside of Gillette Stadium next to the team's Hall of Fame. That ceremony is set to begin at 6 p.m. In baseball news, Red Sox had last night off. They opened up a three-game series in San Diego against the Padres tonight. Sox lead is 1 game on Seattle for the top wild card in the American League. And Braintree, Massachusetts is going to the Little League World Series. They beat Bedford, New Hampshire in the New England Regional Championship last night, 3-2 in 8 innings. They'll play Irmo, South Carolina, the Southeast champ, on Thursday afternoon in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Dr. Matthew Lopresti and Leonard Hair Transplant Associates, the hair doctor of Hardy, Rob Ninkovich, and Dave Portnoy. Call 1-800-GET-HAIR for your free consultation. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9 o'clock.
More Toucher and Hardy on the way on the Sports Hub.
Yes, while it's clarinet, that means something wholesome's going on in the world of baseball. And what is more wholesome than the Little League World Series? Braintree is going to Williamsport.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people's kids were on Williamsport teams. Jerome McGinley's Brookline team was almost unstoppable. They had Matsusaka's kid. They had his kid, Iginla's kid.
Mm-hmm.
Good kids.
Good.
Always took my son down. But there you go. PJ is the first base coach. He called us.
Oh, nice.
His team is on the bus to Williamsport. They can't afford a plane. This is very low rent.
So a bus from Connecticut to middle of Pennsylvania.
Well, no, from Braintree, I would guess.
No, they played in Connecticut last night.
Oh, wow, they're on the road. All right,
Yeah.
let's take them. Let's put them on the line here. PJ, hello, sir.
How you guys doing?
Good. I mean, not as good as you. I'm not in a bus full of kids going to Williamsport, but this is how has this process been? How many games have you guys won so far?
I think right now we're 18-0. Started with districts and sectionals and states, and we won 3 games at this regional tournament. But I just want to make it clear that Little League provided the bus and put us on the bus this morning, but we could have all afforded a plane ticket.
Oh, thank you for clearing that up. I'm sure a lot of people were really questioning your financial standing. I don't want to stop you from getting laid, sir. I mean, let's be honest. Let's just say PJ can afford a ticket to Williamsport. All right.
I could. There's no airport close to there. It's like a 2-hour drive from the airport, I guess.
Yeah,
I've never been.
Oh well, listen. I'm sure it's great, but so. How much you're going to be on TV like coaching first base? Is this like how do you feel as an adult going to this? Because it's hard not to get caught up into it. It really is. Like it sounds silly from from a listener perspective maybe, but when you're in the middle of it, it kind of gets really important. How much of that are you cognizant of, like as an adult?
I think it's funny to see yourself on TV. I wish I'd gone on a diet before the TV stuff started, but it's just like coaching the team and coaching kids. It's just something that we enjoy, like because we all get kids on the team. But it's it's honestly like the best moments that I've had on like in sports and the athletic fields. Like this last night was just an unbelievable game. I don't know if you guys watched it. It was, a walk-off wild pitch at the end. It was just amazing.
And it's funny because you'll be experiencing this, and then the game will end, and if, like, the kids lose, you're like, oh, this is going to be crushing, and then 2 minutes after the game, they're talking about something else. So it is the resiliency of, like, 12-year-olds is really amazing because as an adult, you think it carries all this weight, and then as soon as it's over, the kids are just like, all right, like, they're on to something else. Go ahead, John.
I was going to ask him, and we were talking about this earlier in the show. These kids have been at this since mid-March, late March, and the Little League season starts in April, and here we are, second or third week of August, and practices every day. How are the kids handling all of this?
Yeah, the kids, like, they've been locked in. Like, they love this team. Like, it's the day that, the team got announced. It was, I think, beginning of June. And, we've practiced every day. But, the kids, they've been all in. They've given up a lot of things. Our other coach said, birthday parties, beach days, they just, they've put everything. And, it's paid off. So the Little League World Series, like everyone watched it as a kid. I know the holy grail of Little League baseball. And you never think you're going to get there. You see all these people on TV. It's like people wonder, like, oh, how do you get there? How do you win so many games? Like, what's it take? Like, we just can't believe it.
Okay, why don't you give shouts out to the kids quickly over the radio, and then we'll wish you good luck as everyone's rooting for Braintree, representing the state of Massachusetts in the Little League World Series. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're Braintree American Little League. It's there's 2 Little Leagues in town, but we're Braintree American, so we just want to be clear on that. But we're Team Massachusetts now. We're Team New England. It's just
All right. When do you play next?
Thursday at 3, we play the Southeast, which is South Carolina. They beat Florida.
They beat the defending world champions.
You got to assume South Carolina is the favorite in this game, so you got to be going strong for Braintree because that's the South. They've been playing since 3 years ago.
That's a good point.
They haven't stopped playing yet.
That's right.
I mean, these kids are getting Tommy John left and right. All right. Well, PJ, look, we're all rooting for you. 3 o'clock tomorrow, Braintree. Thursday. Sorry. On Thursday. Oh, they have some time, so you get some time to enjoy Williamsport. All right. So Thursday at 3 o'clock, Braintree will be playing. PJ, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it, and good luck. We are all rooting for you.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. There's PJ calling us. We couldn't get to the dildo segment.
Oh, well, we can save that. I mean,
we could do that at 9, and we can bump 9 to next week.
No, we're going to do dildo. Then we're going to do what we were going to do at 9. Then we're going to do email, and then we're going to 23 skidoo.
Yeah,
okay.
I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, Adam. I just
Look at this
you know what I
thing's
did? I
taking
just
the helm.
alphaed my balls on the table.
You should have let Hardy do that.
Let me restore things here. Let me bring things back around because I think we can probably limit the dildo segment because now that I find out that crypto is involved, that's what will get me to stop talking about it. Not the coach of the Lynx telling me I shouldn't, not someone else wagging their finger and telling me it's not funny. Oh, this is all designed as or has something to do with cryptocurrency. That will get me to shut up.
Well, it also makes me want to invest that throwing Greek dildos on a court is moving some kind of equity in some kind of positive way. Yeah. That just sounds to me like a good way to, and something I fully understand. I have a friend who made a tremendous amount of money on crypto, but he did it like 15 years ago. So my friend Fierce,
yeah, I was there for
and he has the money.
Guess who I haven't talked to in like 10 years is Fierce.
Yeah,
I don't know where he lives. I don't know what he's doing. He just used to send me messages, get into crypto, get into crypto, get into crypto. And then he went off the face of the earth. And I know it was a positive thing.
Yeah.
Because I know he didn't lose his ass in it.
Because he talked to me that at your birthday party that night. He talked to me for about 20 minutes straight on this thing. And I'm like,
and this was like ground floor. See, I'm perfectly happy just having my money in traditional investments.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I don't play the stock market. I kind of set it and forget it. And that's fine. I'm never going to get that huge payday. Like, I don't need the ebbs and flows of it, but good on Fierce.
Yeah.
But again, I don't feel comfortable taking a good portion of my earnings and giving it to something that is fluctuated and valued based on the appearance of a dildo on the floor. Unless it was the dildo company.
Unless it was like something really stable, like the Hawk Tua coin. That I could, that makes sense to me as a sound investment strategy.
Well, I would say that's not right because the Hawk Tua coin ended in great peril.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. It was a whole inside job.
I can't imagine.
A lot of good Americans lost their savings to the. I mean, it's very similar to the crash of that sparked the Great Depression.
That's right.
Or it's like the town coal business going under. A lot of good Americans lost their savings to the Hawk Tua tragedy. All right. Well, there you go.
Good call, Hardy.
Hawk Tua, the girl, though, had a podcast that people advertised on. They said people are going to want to hear this Hawk Tua girl forever. They made a set and paid money to put Hawk Tua on it and everything else. These people are going to be around. Like the guy who does the videos of the girls at the gym getting mad and then talks about how they're body shaming. That guy, because he dressed as Hulk Hogan for Halloween.
Oh.
So he just had to dump the whole enterprise.
Okay.
I mean, these guys that were on Love Island, they're all in L.A. now and miserable. I suggest everyone watch the Love Island after the thing where it's like them now, and they're all gathered in L.A. because they're all getting influencer money, and watch. They are all self-reported so miserable, and they're like, "Why am I so miserable?" And the one guy that got off of Instagram and all that stuff is like, because you're on it. Because your life is just centered around this garbage and fluff.
Right.
Like his whole thing is I had to get off of it.
There's nothing real.
Yeah, like that guy was crushed because he made this girl cry a bunch during Love Island, but he had to get off of it, and he's the only one. And he's like sitting here as like a beacon of like, I know you're getting a little bit of money, but this soul-crushing damage this is doing to you as a 22-year-old Get away. You know, whenever the reality show participant that's actively on the reality show is the one going, you're miserable for a reason. This is good advice to heed. All right, we'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub. Sports Hub headline presented by Celsius Energy Drinks.
The Patriots preseason begins tonight in Foxborough as they open up their three-game schedule with their lone home game of the summer. They play the Washington Commanders at Gillette Stadium. Starters are expected to see some time in this one. We'll have the pregame at 4:30 here on 98.5 The Sports Hub, and then the kickoff with Bob Sosey and Phil Perry follows at 7:30. A statue of Tom Brady will be unveiled on the plaza next to the team's Hall of Fame at 6 o'clock. In other NFL news, Chargers starting left tackle Rashawn Slater suffered a ruptured patella tendon in practice yesterday. He will miss the entire upcoming season. Red Sox had last night off. They open up a three-game series in San Diego tonight against the Padres. Walker Buehler starts for the Sox. They're 4 games behind Toronto for first in the division, and they're a game ahead of Seattle for the top wild card in the American League. And the kids from Braintree, Massachusetts beat Bedford, New Hampshire last night 3-2 in 8 innings. This was the championship of the New England Regional, and as a result, they're headed to the Little League World Series. They'll play the Southeastern champion Irmo, South Carolina in their first game of this double elimination tournament. It's on Thursday afternoon in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Sports Hub headlines are driven by the fun to drive Honda HR-V. Head to your local New England Honda dealers to learn more and see their lineup of Honda vehicles. I'm John Wallach on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
Boston's best sports talk. There's an app for that. Download the Sports Hub app for loads of stuff. Absolutely free. Connect with the shows, get podcasts, and more. Get it where you get your apps. Or at 985sportshub.com. Hey, if your alarm clock sounds like this is the show for you. Toucher and Hardy, the Sports Hub.
And that sound is the sound of the WNBA. The WNBA, I don't know much about it, but they are seizing the opportunity that they have with Caitlin Clark and doing their best to undermine it. I've never seen... They have one girl that has a podcast that kind of craps on some stuff about the league, and they just keep finding her. I don't know enough to know her name. She's blonde, and she said that the league was screwing up Caitlin Clark, and then she made fun of the refs apparently, and they fined her.
Sophie Cunningham you're talking about.
Great. Fantastic. And but there has been a scourge of dildo throwing. We played you lots of videos from it. There's a lot of dildos going on the floor, and it's met with outrage by the broadcasters. They're kind of getting hip to it, and they're starting not just to kind of ignore the dildos, which should have been what happened all along, because the one way to ensure something's going to continually happen is if you play the straight man. Like, if you're the outraged person who's offended, that gauges up the comedy about 1,000%.
Yes.
Like, if a dildo was thrown on the floor and it was just taken away, it wouldn't have moved the needle. But the, outrage, the girl getting her wig pulled off was bad enough. But then, and this has happened to men. I mean, Andre Agassi lost a match in the U.S. Open, as John knows, because he was concerned about his wig falling off. So this is not...
And the dildo that got thrown famously in the end zone of the Bills Patriots game,
right?
And everybody laughed about it. Do you remember any outrage about it? Players calling for player safety, or how this is it's an insult to our masculinity? No.
Look, as someone who's been the butt of the online joke on more than one occasion, I can tell you the first way to make sure that it has some sustainability and some traction is to pay heed to it. And even if you're paying heed to it internally, it's best not to acknowledge it externally. And then if you act offended, you're giving this thing legs like you wouldn't believe. Oh. But, all right, so there's been some dildos, and this cryptocurrency is saying they're throwing dildos, and it's like a dildo cryptocurrency, and I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know how throwing the dildo makes people invest in the crypto and how that makes the value.
You're so ignorant. You don't get it.
Yeah. No, I don't, because if you say I invest in Beasley Broadcasting on the NASDAQ stock exchange.
Yes.
I'm doing that because I believe maybe it's an undervalued company.
Correct.
I feel that they have talent, that maybe things are swinging around. The digital brand is growing. I invest my money on the belief that the cash flow of the company is going to be headed into a positive direction.
Right.
Now, the cryptocurrency, if it's fluctuating based on dildos being thrown on the court of women's basketball games, that tells me where is the value? Like, what are we betting on here? Like that's what I don't understand. And
will they actually follow through? This is just a metaphor for what the company and the crypto is built on, Fred. Will they follow through on what they say they're going to do? And if they say they're going to throw a dildo on the floor and they do it, that means all things that they say that their particular currency will rise in value, that will happen too. See, we do what we say we're going to do here at Dildo Coin.
I think it is called Green Dildo or something. I think that's the name of it. So if you want to make a quick buck, I guess you're investing in something that is nothing. But I mean, listen, the government is all behind it. Do what you got to do. But listen, I probably sound really dumb. But what the WNBA Lynx coach decided to do, because I've seen this isn't just her getting asked questions. This is a small media, the media that covers the WNBA. There's probably about 4 or 5 reporters. She goes, guys, I'm not joking. Come over here. And she pulls them aside to deliver this message. This is how she feels is the best way to combat the dildo throwing that is plaguing the WNBA.
There's this distraction, I guess, if you will, of what's happening in some of the arenas around the league with regard to the disruption of throwing things onto the court. Obviously, you guys know what the object is.
It's a green dildo.
It's a phallus.
Yeah, it's a prosthetic phallus is being thrown on the ground.
Big.
What if your kids hear the word
normal size?
What if my kids ask me what Hardy?
Scale.
That's mean.
What? I didn't know it was normal size. Okay.
That'd be funny if they had a prosthetic me and they were like, it was just on the court for like an hour and no one noticed it. Like a girl picks it up with 2 fingers and like goes like, someone like drop a tooth. Someone's dentures fell out.
What is this, a Tootsie Roll?
Yeah. Someone's toenail came off. But yeah, and then people go like, what if my kid hears the word dildo? Well, then you'd say it's a synthetic penis.
Right.
And well, then they'll know it exists. Well, it does exist. I don't know why that's difficult. I have 2 children. I don't know why that's a difficult conversation to have. What's a dildo? It's a prosthetic penis. It's a fake penis. Mm-hmm. Why do people get them? I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
There's the conversation. I don't know why necessarily.
Well, sure you do.
They could be to throw it at a WNBA game.
Okay, but why do most people get it?
Well, women would use it as a tool for self-pleasure, and men would use it as a punishment. I don't really know. Like, it doesn't seem like that's something that, but I guess if you enjoyed that particular aspect, I thought that was more of a, like, taking one for the team situation. But if that's indeed, you want to do that on your own.
I don't know.
I don't know either. But I respect it and stand by your right to do it. All right, here is the dildo gate further with the Lynx coach.
And I just want to comment on, this has been going on for centuries. The sexualization of women. This is the latest version of that. And it's not funny.
Well, if you say so. I mean, you're making this 1,000 times funnier. Like delivering a soliloquy on the victimization of women throughout the ages, as evidenced in the dildo throwing at the WNBA, is preposterous and making this way worse. Again, things happen. Things get thrown at shows. Ozzy bit the head off a bat. People were throwing bats on stage. People throw underwear on stage. People throw firecrackers on stage. I would much rather have dildos thrown in the court than being in a band and having people throw M80s on the stage, which happens all the time. People throw bottles at the performers. As things go, this dildo, in my experience with live shows, in live entertainment, this dildo is...
doesn't really move the needle.
No, like I think if you saw Aerosmith and you threw a dildo at Steven Tyler, it is what it is. I don't think they're going to comb the audience looking for the dildo thrower. Sometimes he would decorate his mic stand with panties.
Sure.
Which are panties, not underwear.
And it's not funny. And it should not be the butt of jokes on any radio shows.
Now I feel bad.
And it should not be the butt of jokes on any radio shows or in print or in any comments. The sexualization of women is what's used to hold women down. And this is no different. This is just its latest form. And we should write about it in that way. And these people that are doing this should be held accountable, and we're not the butt of the joke. They're the problem, and we need to take action.
Yeah, which is the best way to not be the butt of the joke, is to inform people that you're not the butt of the joke, and then to instruct them how to do their shows and write their paper. This is how you should write it. Okay, if you're a progressive, I have news for you. Here's a good start. Don't tell people they should. Don't do that. Convince, make an argument for. You should write about it that way. Like, okay, that's an order, and that's it's inserting dominance over the person. Don't do that. Stop doing that now. Like, you're part of the reason everything's the way it is. Stop doing that. Stop ordering. You should write about it that way. Oh, should I? How about F you? Like, that's the reaction you're going to get. You could say the whole thing about the dildos and it's bad and the victimization of women and this and that, and that's fine. And you could cajole and convince people to get on your side of the argument. It seems ludicrous.
Well, it does. And I say it's not fine because I didn't make that connection. I thought if you want to be disruptive and you want to, just do something that you think would be funny or is just going to upend things a little bit, what are you going to throw? A cup? Are you going to throw a toilet paper roll? No, do something that everyone's going to point at and laugh at. And I made no connection to that and the fact that there were women playing basketball. I didn't view it as some kind of a statement on the sexualization of the players or any affront to their humanity or femininity or anything else. It's just, if you're going to throw something down on the court and you want people to laugh, that's what you would throw. That's at the top of the list on a very short list of things that you would throw down there.
It would be funny if people started throwing like fake poo and chattering teeth. Maybe we should get into the whammo, start investing in whammo.
I'm going to throw a whoopee cushion.
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny if you just started throwing chattering teeth. And by the way, the dildo on the floor is not what's funny at all. What's funny is the reaction to the dildo on the floor. Like, it's hacky. You're throwing a dildo on the floor. That's like hack comedy. The funny thing is your soliloquy. That's what's funny. Yeah. And then what's not funny is the order. I'll play it one more time. This is advice to people on the far left. And you have some very good things to say. It's more of the way you say it has alienated half the country.
The sexualization of women is what's used to hold women down. And this is no different. This is just its latest form. And we should write about it in that way. And these people that are doing this should be held accountable. And we're not the butt of the joke.
Yeah, instructing, we're not the butt of the joke. You should write it that way. These are orders. And you're dictating. Who doesn't see that's not a way to get someone to do something? If someone's not your child that you can punish, don't order them to do something. Convince them to do something. Use your personality and your logic and your intelligence to convince them. Don't order them to do it. You're the coach of the effing Lynx. I don't even know what city you're in. Stop telling people what to do. Stop acting like you're more important than anyone. You're not.
When the last dildo was thrown earlier this week, I don't know how else to phrase it. When the last phallus was tossed onto the floor, onto the playing surface, it looked like the WNBA players got it. They laughed, they kicked it to the sideline, and the game went on. It looked like we'd begun to turn that oil tanker slowly in the right direction, and this sunk the ship. And now we're right back to where we were before if you're the WNBA.
Yeah, there's nothing about the dildo that can be played on the radio. What can be played on the radio is the announcer's reaction, the coach's reaction, and that is what the content is. If dildos are thrown on the floor, there could be 100 dildos thrown on the floor. In fact, if there were like 100 dildos flown on the floor, then you are a victim. Now they're like just being mean. Mm-hmm. And like that ends it. A single solitary dildo being thrown gently to the floor and having this like precious reaction to it is funny. That's what comedy is a absurd reaction to something absurd. How hard is that to figure out? If you don't have the reaction, there's nothing funny about it. It's just a fake penis on the floor.
Now it's a challenge. Now it's a challenge. See
if you can get them to react.
How many games can we do this? What kind of reaction am I going to get once I do this? Can I get away with it? Am I going to get slapped on the wrist for it? All of these people who are doing this now because of what you have done are taking this upon themselves to see how far they can go.
Yeah, and there's a point where it could get mean, and then that's not funny, but it has to happen on its own. Like, it's not at that point. Like, if you were at like I said, if you were at a place and like 10 dildos at once got thrown on the floor, now you're just like being mean, and now like they are victims because you're just like being like cruel, and that's like that's not funny. But as it stands now, the reactions to me are humorous. They're just so stodgy and misguided. And like, I'm the coach of the Lynx. Here's how you should cover it. How about I don't cover it at all? Like, who are you to be telling anyone what to do?
Right.
You know, you're not an elected official as the coach of the Lynx. I don't know your name. I don't care what your name is. I don't know where your team's from. I don't care. All I know is you are all hyped up about a dildo.
The sad part about all of this is, and I had to look this up, I did not know this, but Minnesota apparently is the best team in the WNBA by far this year. And there's a part of me that thinks that the head coach, knowing that her team is in first place by a lot, thinks that she has this position of, not power, but she's somehow
in the league.
More well-known, and her words would carry more weight. You know what I'm saying?
You're probably right.
I mean, so this is I'm incredibly successful this year, so you need to listen to me and what I have to say.
I have money in the bank. Katerina. Hello, Katerina.
Hi.
Hello.
This is my first time on radio.
Oh well, listen.
Welcome to what
you'll
this
remember
is.
this for the rest of your life.
That's right.
We're glad to be a part of this with you.
Excited.
I know, it is exciting.
I'm a first-time fan of you guys, but my husband is like a diehard from Wilmington, Massachusetts.
You did the right thing in marrying him. He's a smart man.
We're watching you guys right now on our TV. Having a great morning already. Happy Friday.
Get ready for sex, because I'm sure you're going to be all horned up after looking at us for a long time. Katrina is a nitrous. All right, Katrina, what do you think of the dildos on the court and the reaction?
So obviously it caught my attention because, you know, naturally as a wife sitting on the couch on a Friday morning listening to sports radio isn't like what's going to get my attention. But as soon as I heard there were dildos being thrown on the court, I had to look it up on TikTok, and I couldn't help but laugh because the first video I saw, you see a little purple dildo being thrown on the court, and then maybe it's like, I don't know if it's like the a janitor or someone, but they put a teeny little Gatorade towel over it like it's a little body to take it off the court.
You're not going to touch it. You don't know where that's been, Katrina. You know,
you do cover it like a corpse, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to touch it. I mean,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, the smell coming
But I
off
thought
of it.
they would have been throwing them during commercial breaks, but it looks like they're playing, so that's
Right.
just why.
And so when you call attention to it, people like Katrina, thank you, Katrina, you know, they look it up, and then you're just calling attention to it. So there you go. Real quick, Jeremy, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to quickly point out the tiny contradiction of them saying and you arguing over the fact that you should not be talking about this that way, and then you saying you should not be telling us not to talk about it that way.
Yeah, you're a hypocrite, Fred.
Wait, explain.
He just did. He said you are getting all riled up because the coach of the Lynx was saying, don't talk about it this way, and you're telling her, don't tell me to not talk about it this way.
I'm not instructing her to do anything. She's the one telling people to do something. I'm just saying, don't tell me. I didn't say anything to her. If someone's giving you all I'm saying is that if you want to get your message across and you want people to listen to you, stop saying, do this. Stop doing that. It's not an effective way. You would agree that's not an effective way that progressives use
and that
to
woman
get their
is,
message across.
If that woman like you has an oppositional defiance disorder, she is going to hear you telling her to stop, and that's going to make her do it more. So you two are just going to get in this vicious, infinite cycle of not doing what the other one tells you to not do.
Fair enough. But you don't think this whole woke thing that has begat all this
I think
this
it's
stuff
great.
that's going on now.
Oh, no. I like it.
Like this whole reaction against that could have been curtailed a little bit.
I think it makes people so much more fun and cool.
Yeah, exactly. maybe if everyone didn't start ordering everyone around, you could get your message out and people would calm the F down.
That's
because
the good stuff.
Then you wouldn't be the righteous victim that everyone wants to, take a poke at. You could instead be in a position of actual, you're in the right, delivering a message in a way that convinces everyone, because oftentimes you're right, but you just deliver a message in such a school teacher with a ruler way that people resent it. You're basically calling them dumb, and then this is how people react. Mark Maron talks about it in his new special. Listen to him. He said, "We're no fun at parties. We're no fun at a barbecue." He's like, "We're like a bunch of buzzkills," and it's true. He's right. He's read the room. I'm just looking at it from the outside and telling you, that's not the way to get your message across. And every time I hear it, it makes me crazy because I'm like, you're just fueling this like group of people to get more and more and more the way they are. And now you're a righteous victim. And now that's something that they can take shots at and da. It's not the message. It's the way the message is being delivered. It's not good. And it's creating, a lot of it is responsible for everything that's going on in culture now. All right. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
The worst Twitter account was the Twitter account run by the team. For instance, like the A's, the Angels, like this particular Twitter user, Lighter is King, is saying that those are the worst. And when you get down to the worst Twitter account for the Boston Red Sox, our own Matt McCarthy. From this particular.
Come on.
Dear God.
He didn't take this well.
X marks
He's the one that
spot for an
retweeted it.
a-hole.
I found it he was the one who retweeted. He said, "Thank you. The honor is all mine."
The honor is all mine. I'm honored. X.
It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
I know you're saying, wait a second, the email bit's usually earlier. What's going on? No, you're not in a weird time, like, lapse situation. This is real. We're just doing it a little later. You can email us at 985thesportshub.com. You can follow the show at Toucher and Hardy on Instagram and on Twitter. You can follow Hardy on Instagram and Twitter at Hardy985. And you can follow me exclusively on Instagram at Fred Toucher. Thirst traps is what it all is. I've been saving this one. This is from Jay. By the way, someone emailed me yesterday and they said, hey, you're mean. Felger and Maz, I'm going to be like around where they're broadcasting from in Nantucket. What's something I could say to Felger where it's not obvious I'm insulting him, but it would really bother him?
Ooh.
And first of all, I thought I don't know him well enough. And then I thought I could probably come up with something. And then I thought, no.
Oh.
And so I didn't respond.
Wow.
Because I don't. Why do I want the guy to insult Felger?
Yeah, you're going to do something to make Felger feel bad? You don't want to do that.
Hello. 10-4, good buddy. Hey, Fred, hey. I was listening to the Joe Show last night at 10:30. Joe may have pitched the perfect inning. He had a guy from Beverly call in. Like an AI fortune teller, Joe proceeded to call out all the spots the caller should go to on his way home.
Nice.
Then they bonded over a 1998 CYO basketball championship.
Come on.
I'd argue you give Joe Murray a Boston townie, and he can pinpoint where the person grew up, what school they attended, what closed restaurant the townie would have grown up on, whether they moved from the North-South Shore or whether they're Boston-born and raised. We need a Joe Murray segment where he is the Boston Miss Cleo and predicts a Bostonian's life based on what town they came from and what year they graduated. Love the show. Have a good weekend, fellas. That's Jay in Bellingham. And that's something we're doing next week. Yeah. I mean, we're definitely doing that next week.
Yeah, we're going to have to workshop that a little bit, but something having to do with you present someone with a name, age, where they graduated high school, and Joe's going to have to come up with 5 things about that person's life.
Okay, so, yeah, we'll figure out how to do it.
Things.
I just need him to say, hey, this is Joe Cleo. Like, I just need to hear that and do that. I told you when I was in detox at like a hospital, there was this guy, and let's just say Hyde Park. I don't remember really where he's from, but he was this guy. He's probably like 10 years younger than me. He was from, let's say, Hyde Park. And he started talking like, and I'm like, wait a second. Just something struck me. I'm like, do you know Joe Murray? He's like, Joey, yeah. I'm just like, yeah, of course you know him. Like, you're a 40-year-old townie guy. Like, you know Joe Murray. Like, of course you do. He's like, yeah, he's doing all this stuff with he's doing all this stuff with, like, media. And I'm like, yeah, he is.
Popular, yeah.
He is.
He's on the radio, that's for sure.
Does all that stuff.
So, Adam, make a note of that I would like to do that because Joe could obviously do that.
He'd be happy to do it.
He needs a like a footloose and fancy free environment like the night show to kind of stretch it out.
Right.
But maybe he could almost do it for us on the night show, and then we could play it in the morning.
Or we could even just come up with the prompts in a meeting and send them to him. He's done that for us before. He'll record audio for us between his segments on his show.
I know. I like him better live, though, than when he was recording.
Yeah, I do, too.
Is he in? I know next week you're off, Hardy, but I think it's RJ is in. So I don't think he's doing our show anytime soon because that would be the perfect time to do it. But anyway, we can talk later.
Well, anyway, he could tape it on the night show. He could just do it on the night show, and then we could play it the next morning.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he doing at 10:30 anyway?
that way, I was going to say, that way we get you double the mileage out of it, meaning the station. So
yeah, exactly.
It's a win-win. Yeah.
That's what I'm always looking for, the big picture.
That's right.
Alex, who had the very mean email to and about John yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Has another one. Can you please, all caps, ask him to not clap every time there's a joke? Just when you think he can't get any more insufferable, he's now clapping like a raving lunatic. I'm going to go kill a bird.
Oh,
that's Alex at work,
Alex,
who says he's working at a brain surgery clinic.
Cheer up, Bunky. It'll get better, I promise.
Bunky?
Yes. I got 2 emails addressed to me, and they want both of these guys want to make sure that you understand that Charlotte Wilder shares your love of Jordan Hudson, and you must get her on next week. Apparently, she went to the pageant in Maine, has been talking about going to that pageant for the better part of a month. she is like all in on the Jordan Hudson experience and pleading with you or both of you guys to get Charlotte Wilder on the
John,
program.
I tried to book her a few months ago and got nothing back. I don't know if any of you guys have better contact information because I don't remember if she was on this program in any of its forms.
Well, yeah, she was on when we did
a favorite of people on this program, but I don't know her.
Okay.
Like, I like her, but I don't know her. I don't, like, really know her.
We work together at the Globe, but not, like, together. Like, so,
Yeah.
But I'll try again. But we will have what we're preparing for Monday, if you're interested, is we have a condensed version of her podcast talking about basically being strung along for a week by Jordan Hudson and then having her ghost on an interview last minute. So we'll have that.
Literally went up to Maine for the pageant.
Yeah.
You know,
But it would be good to have Charlotte on. I mean, she's tremendous.
Charlotte was more of a long form guest when I was gone, and not because I dislike her at all. It had nothing to do with me.
Right.
Just in my absence, one could be free to have Charlotte Wilder, I suppose, on for 90 minutes. So I wasn't usually here when that happened. Frank says, what successful rock bands got laid the least, aside from Rush? Again, Geddy Lee's biography is not a tale of debauchery. He basically married a girl from high school, and I believe like he barely cheated on her. So there you go.
Devo?
That's not a
bad
band.
guess.
Well,
That is a rock band, though.
Yeah,
That's not a bad guess.
Yeah, I like that one, John.
Devo.
This guy says this guy has a good one, but Hardy, who would you say band that got laid the least? Because there is, I'll just tell you one. Smash Mouth, they're backstage with Stern. They have Janine the porn star on. The singer from Smash Mouth, R.I.P., starts trying to finesse her, and she just like no, like just to his face, like no, stop it. And you're like, dude, you're in a rock band at the MTV Video Music Awards, and you can't like even get a porn star to like fake like you.
I have one.
I got one.
Because there's always that moment where you think like you'll have done a like theater show or something. You'll think, oh well, now all these girls are going to come up, and then it doesn't happen, and it feels worse than ever. Go ahead.
Bare naked ladies.
Oh,
so that might be the best one.
Oh, that's undefeated.
Yeah, that might be the best one.
That's pretty good.
Now,
that's pretty.
I was gonna say Cake. Because Cake were very successful and had a lot of hits.
They were
but that
fedoras.
guy's just like, no, worse. Dude wore a bucket hat. I mean, that's corny.
How about Flaming Lips, Blind Melon?
No, Flaming
Lips will have their choose of hippie chicks.
And Blind
their
Melon,
choice of hippies.
we're in the orbit of Guns N' Roses. Now that's a bad one. Shannon Hoon was like childhood friends of Axl Rose. And he died of a heroin overdose. I would imagine there was promiscuity going on. I've been talking far too much this week.
Shannon Hoon sang,
minutes.
you can hear him singing backup on Use Your Illusion.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually, because he had that crazy high falsetto.
Is he on Don't Cry? Is he one of the backing vocals
I
on
looked
that?
it up
Or
once.
One
I
of the
can't remember
because there's
what
two versions
songs.
of Don't Cry, of
there's
course,
a couple
you
of
need that.
there's a couple of songs where he's in there. Yeah.
Yeah, Blind Melon, one of the worst bands ever to have a hit. Frank says, aside from Rush, you got to. So who's the band that got laid the least? You got to think ZZ Top. I'm sure there are pockets of the country where they played, but I can't think of a more successful band who probably got laid the same as a guy who worked at a rental car company. ZZ Top were like huge in Texas. Oh, Be Real says they might be giants. I mean, Bare Naked Ladies.
I was
going to
say that one. I was going to say that one. Good call.
It might be, but I like.
You know what?
Nerds really like. They might be giants.
Yes.
Okay, in terms of like a big band that toured a lot and had a lot of success through multiple decades, I don't know that the guys in REM were getting a ton of action.
You don't think? I think Michael Stipe was famous enough where he was getting it if he wanted it. Like Michael Stipe was really famous, like super famous, and so no, I wouldn't count that.
Were there any groupies going backstage to have sex with Mike Mills?
I just think when you get to that level, like you're playing arenas, like Bare Naked Ladies is like almost it seems like there would be a kindergarten backstage, like they're forever children, like they like collecting Star Wars characters and not selling cards for $5,000 on eBay like me. But they don't they seem like in a like other comedians. I don't know if you've ever
the one guy in the band anymore because I guess he had like a nickel a day coke habit.
No, he had a heroin habit, and he was like the one out of all of them that seemed to be the most talented. There's like this genre of comedy, which is this like Forever 12, like where the guys are almost non-sexual and not like in any like hyphenated way or like there's no subtext to this. It's like they're just like asexual.
Yeah.
Like they're with someone they knew in elementary school, and it's preposterous that they would ever like cheat on them. There's like comedy writers, like there's improv comedians. There's like a lot of that.
Yeah.
And the Bare Naked Ladies are that in a band form.
Yeah.
Like forever. I just came up with a concept: forever 12-year-olds.
Huh.
Like guys that are like just sexless. They've been with the same girl since they were 12.
So if you were to open a store called Forever 12, what would you sell in that store?
Like action figures in boxes, like old movies, like from like action movies. Like you're just suspended in 1987.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Because I can think of a bunch of comedians like that. Like a lot. Like in the LA comedy scene, for sure. Because remember when it came out that
wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Mulaney left his wife, and like went off with the other woman, and like women were just like completely shocked.
Yes,
because he was like a Forever 12 guy,
right?
But then it came out that he had the coke habit, and he left his wife. Then you're like, oh, he's like a normal guy. Isn't that funny? That now I look at him as more of a normal guy instead of a member of the Forever 12 Club. I don't know. Kick it around.
Enjoy your weekend.
Workshop it this weekend.
Okay.
All right. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a great day. Bye.
Have a weekend. Toucher and Hardy will be back on Monday on the Sports Hub.